first, like we're live. We're like not looking around. Like, did we turn on everything?
Stuff wasn't on, then it was on. Yeah.
What a great start to the show tonight. Hey, we got some folks hanging out with us tonight. Thank you. We got Stealth Mouse with the dancing T-Rexes there. We got He Higley.
What's up? In the house.
Thanks for hanging out with us this beautiful night. It's actually pretty beautiful out.
It is, man. It's like it's that false spring that we get in Colorado, right? Where you go, oh man, maybe I should like go outside and spend this whole weekend planting my garden and things like that. And until you realize, nope, we still got another 6 inches of snow that we'll get sometime between now and Mother's Day.
I was like, do I put on my AC? It's kind of hot enough to do the thing. Of course not. That's not going to do that. So
can't turn on your sprinkler system. We got a hard freeze at some point still between now and May.
Yeah. My son was already cranky about it because we were taking a walk yesterday and he's like, this is too hot. And it was like, he was mad about it. I was like, all right.
You're like, get ready because it's going to be a hell of a lot hotter.
Oh, so, well, I'm a grandfather.
Woo.
I am a grandpa. Isn't that crazy to think?
Totally. Super crazy.
So the baby, it's a boy.
Yeah, great.
And it's the baby's name is guess what the baby's name is. Do you want to do this as a guess?
Yeah. Give me like a hint just so
starts with the letter X.
Xavier.
Yep.
Nice.
You got it.
I mean, how many X names are there?
I know. No, xylophone.
His name's X-Men.
So it's Xavier Blade nonetheless.
Oh
so
man,
had to,
he could be an X-Men with that name.
Absolutely is. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Say 12 is that a?
That's is that an Elon Musk baby or something?
Oh, it is. I think it is.
Nice. Well, congratulations. Healthy and all that stuff.
Healthy baby. It was a long labor, but you get mentally stressed as even a grandparent, just making sure everything's okay. And Heather was like crazy and did a great job and went out there and did all this work. And thanks, Mike Azul.
Yeah.
Thanks. So Stealth Mouse has done a great job of really, because it's her son and she's been hanging out, bringing them lunches, making sure they're all good.
Yeah.
And of course, it's that shock. It's that shock of having a kiddo,
Yeah.
when you're like, oh my God, now it's here. What do I do? This is going to be crazy. Remember that time?
I always love the idea of like bringing people food when they are going through something, because you're like, that like takes such a thing off of your plate, right? Of figuring out, what are we going to make or what are we going to eat and going to the store and buying all the things and stuff. It helps you just sort of like relax through that. And plus, when other people are making you food, I feel like I appreciate the food no matter what. Like you just make me anything, even if you brought over peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and chips, I'm going to be like devouring that and eating it up.
That is the truth. Thanks to people. And thanks for the kudos out there in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Totally.
So the funny thing about all of it is, and like I was saying, my dad has his birthday, and this has all happened yesterday. He turned 73. My cousin, she's in her 30s. She turns, in her 30s. Mm-hmm. My son turned 16 in the little baby. So we have generations all the way through.
On the same day or
on the exact same day?
Same exact day.
Exact same day.
It's fun group birthdays at that point.
So we were my son was like, don't have that happen on this birthday. He's like, I already share it with so many people. It's like, I'm sorry, dude. I can't help that, but
yeah, and now it's the baby's birthday, which totally takes over your birthday. It's like the youngest birthday is always the most celebrated.
That is the truth. So I tried to give him his day and chit chat with him and didn't talk about the baby too much around him, so he could feel like because he turned 16, he was all stoked about that.
That's a big day, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Big birthday.
So he's gonna start driving. So anyways, that was the drama. So I'm a little tired from all the just logistics of thinking about that. I have not seen the baby in person yet. I've seen the baby in the little cute little bundle.
Sure.
And so it's been fun.
Well, I'm sure that'll happen soon.
So we did the math because I was like, what the heck happened 9 months before March 26th?
It's 10 months actually.
And so
it's 40 weeks, right?
Is it?
Because 40 weeks is when you have a baby typically, so that's 10 months.
So then, I mean, it's around the June to July timeframe, ish, maybe a little. So 4th of July,
summer.
maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
right.
So, yeah, it's like what was happening around that time frame.
I feel like that's a perfect sexing up time.
Yeah, that's right.
June,
Have some
June
fireworks
July.
going on.
Boom.
All right, what do we got for the show tonight? We got a lot to talk about. We have been talking behind the scenes last time about there's some fun things that we've been enjoying that we do, and one of them is that we want to have like a main topic that we could chat about,
Right.
and so we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But Ryan, let's do the rundown. Let's start us out. What are we gonna talk about?
Totally. I mean, there's some fun, just like news stuff, like smaller things that have been in the news lately. Like Xbox is doing this sort of co-pilot thing with video games, which I feel like is really interesting. Just bringing that stuff into the mainstream. Like Adam has a thing about like old people and how we shouldn't now that he's a grandpa, he gets to he can explain about things like this without it seeming biased, ageist. So why you shouldn't trust those people or older people with tech advice. And then some stuff came out, like there was a report that came out about sort of Moore's law for AI, and so we're talking about that and why that's maybe not necessarily like a well understood term. So we'll just sort of like go into what that actually means and what this new report is talking about. And then
and what we were talking about that doesn't make sense is like we just want to talk about Moore's law, what the heck that is,
right?
But we're going to talk about this other report about how AI has these things that are going on. It's just exponentially growing, and so some people kind of correlate it with what Moore's law actually is. So
yeah.
Cool.
And then our main topic tonight is going to be something a little like not in the headlines necessarily right now, but something that is just like comes up in pop culture a lot, comes up in sci-fi, things that we've been watching and enjoying and reading about and everything. And it just sort of like caught our attention now because we've been watching the second season of Pantheon and everything. And that is about uploaded intelligence. Ray Kurzweil talks about these things. Anyway, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. I think it's going to be a really interesting conversation of just like, what do we think about uploaded intelligence? How far away is that in the future? What does that look like? Is that something that we want to do? What are the, pros and cons of that kind of stuff? Anyway, I think it's going to be
I like the idea that we're not actually talking about AI too much this time.
Right.
This is like one of our times we're going to talk AI a little bit. Of course, we always do.
Sure, of course.
But UI, you got that. We got a little bit of hands-on with ChatGPT 4 generation. Is there something new here?
Yeah, so
Cool.
ChatGPT put out their big like image generation update for 4.0. So before this, right now, it had been you could go into ChatGPT 4.0 and be like, make me an image, right? But really, what it was doing behind the scenes, it was still going to DALL-E and doing the image, doing the stuff, and then coming back into. But now it's native in ChatGPT 4.0, and what that means is way more sophisticated. Not only like text generation of it, but also just editing. Like, so if you were to say, make me this image and now like add a vase of flowers to the middle of it and say, make me a coffee table. Now add a vase of flowers. It wouldn't just come up with a brand new coffee table in a completely different style. It's just like, add me that vase of flowers. Oh, now change that vase of flowers to tulips or whatever. And it sort of keeps everything. People have been talking a ton about it just because like it can do character stuff now. Where you're like, here's the character, here's the one that I want, and put them in different outfits and do different things. And it sort of keeps that character the same because it's built in. It's like actually multimodal at this point, as opposed to just like going off to different ones. So I thought it'd be interesting.
That's a good teaser. And Darth Goricon, did I say that right? Goracorn.
Oh, Darth Goricon.
Yeah,
right?
Goricon. Corn. It's corn.
Darth Goricon. Yeah, it's like Darth. Right? Like,
yeah, I love
like
it.
the
You didn't miss anything.
No.
We're just doing the rundown of what we're going to talk about. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Totally.
We're excited. We're going to talk about UI tonight. Uploaded
UI.
intelligence is the main topic. So
Oh, nice. All
Darth
right.
or Gory is good if it's
Nice.
easier. I love
I
it.
like that.
Thank you.
Darth. I like Darth.
So Ryan has a new game for Firefly. It looks like it has some cool stuff that
Yeah.
we can get to.
So
if
there
you
was
wanna
another
get to.
beta. There's another beta thing that came out basically, and it's really interesting. You build 3D objects inside of it, and then give it prompts, and whatever the angle that you have on that, it builds it around. So you can be very much more like precise in the angles and the things that you're doing. I think it would be fun to play with it a little bit.
Yeah. So then as we start to get in, there's a game Ryan figured out that we're going to play. It's called Death by AI.
I was
Cool
just
little thing. Let's check
researching
it out.
games, that you can play like sort of on Zoom, and this one kept coming up as a fun, like up to 10 people can play all at once, and I just thought it could be something different.
Last thing, and if you're around for this one, it's I've been playing with Godot, and I got Roby in Godot.
Nice.
It's a fun little thing. We're gonna just take a little peek. It's not a long demo or anything like that. I'm still like, Godot has really got me excited to build a game in there.
Yeah.
I still want to finish the Game Boy game,
Of
and we're
course,
still
I've been
doing
thinking
that.
about that. I've been thinking about the Game Boy game actually.
So we're on par to get back to that. I needed to get through this whole tutorial series just to get my brain in the mode of like how this is going to work. It's going to be a lot of extra work to make it in Godot, but I'm excited because I got Roby in Godot. I just
Nice.
like it feels
There's something
feels
about
good.
that, not like tutorial assets that you're putting into your thing.
Yeah,
That's
like
always nice.
because you're seeing him run, you're like,
Yeah.
he made the jump. He jumped out of it. I just could see like the transition of him, like Game Boy in there. He's all
Nice.
excited. He's like, oh, look at all of the
can breathe.
space. It's so good. And it's gonna also give us that thing that we were trying to avoid of scope creep. We're gonna have to
yeah.
be really, really like, we can't be like, oh, it would be awesome if we did this and this and this
Totally.
and this. So we'll have that as a little bit. All right, let's jump in with our first thing. Questions for humans.
Oh yeah,
We always got to do that.
We got our 3 questions for humans today.
So chat, get ready, get to your keyboards because we need your help.
What activity makes everyone doing it look stupid?
Oh, I got one. I got one. You know, I'll tell you what it is.
Okay, well, what activity makes everyone doing it look stupid?
Running with a backpack.
Of course. Yeah, you can't run with a backpack. That definitely makes you.
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna say like a lot of very dabbing. That's a good one.
What kind of dabbing?
Right.
Just kidding.
Lots of like gym stuff I feel like makes you look pretty stupid. Like I get that you're trying to do like maybe work out a specific muscle or do a specific cardio thing or something, but like I've been going to the gym occasionally lately and it's like, man, a bunch of this looks real stupid. Like I don't know.
The
Yeah.
shake weight.
Like some of the and maybe this might piss some people off, but like a lot of that like what's that very like extreme version of working out where you do things for like 90 seconds super hard and then you move on to something else and you just keep what is that? It's like a whole CrossFit. A lot of that CrossFit stuff that looks stupid. I'm sorry.
Oh God,
Like, that looks.
we're gonna get like
That looks-
completely
yeah, we're
banned.
gonna get annihilated now. But I'm just saying, like a lot of that just doesn't look cool.
It looks
cool.
like you're gonna hurt yourself as
Exactly.
well.
That's what I feel like.
So there was a couple in the chat I wanted to go to. First of
Okay.
all, socks with sandals. I would say I actually agree with that. I'm on that side of it. I'm on no sandals and socks.
Yeah.
But the only question I have is like, what about slides and like basketball players and those and like you have the Nike slides and things? Because I had
What's a
this
slide?
conversation. A slide is where it doesn't separate your toes, but it's just like you slide your foot in and all your little toes
Oh.
are in there. I don't know.
I that's a sandal. That's still a
It's
sandal.
it's a sandal, but they call them slides. It's like I guess
Cooler
a
way to say
subgenius
sandal.
of a sandal or whatever
Yeah.
you'd call that.
That's the only. I don't like sandals with things in between my toes. That hurts.
So Darth Gorikon is like trying to open up some things to Ryan here. I hopefully he didn't see that, making what people refer to as modern art because
Ooh, like
Ryan's gonna go off on a tangent though.
like
Go for it. I want to hear.
No,
it.
no, no. What is that? Is that makes someone doing it look stupid? As in, like, they look dumb making the art, or is it like they look dumb because they've made what people refer to as modern art? A lot of it looks like a toddler made it. Oh yeah, I have a whole diatribe about that. We don't need to get into.
This is an entire stream
It's an entire
conversation
stream.
that you're opening.
We have had Adam and I have had long conversations
Oh my God.
about modern art and just sort of whether a toddler could do whether anyway I'm not going to get into it still. Let's see, people that take games like Magic the Gathering seriously, I feel like getting very far into something that most people take lightly, and then you getting super into it and being in with the crowd, then seeing it from the outside, definitely not looking good.
But see, that's kind of the things. Like, I bet you a bunch of people that are not into technology or AI be like, freaking nerds. Like a whole show about it? What the hell?
How could you come up with even things to say during that time? Somebody said dressage on here. I feel like that does look pretty silly. Yeah.
Help explain it like I'm 5. Do I not know what dressage is?
Dressage is like horse dancing that's in the Olympics.
Oh my God,
you're
it's a
like
thing.
where you're on a horse and you're sort of like prancing the horse around.
I did not know this thing.
And you get points for like how well they do it, how like, very specifically they like stay within this kind of area and how precisely they do their little dance.
It's a skill-based thing, but yeah, the look of it probably not so great.
It does look silly. Okay, next one.
Yeah, next up.
What's your favorite cheap meal that you'll always love no matter how much money you make?
Cheat meal.
Cheap meal.
Oh my God. Like some days when you ask these questions, like my mind goes blank. I have instant thoughts on some of these. So I'm not going to go first this time.
What's your favorite cheap meal that you'll always love no matter how much money you make? I mean, like, I think if I was a billionaire, I would probably eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches still. Like, I could absolutely see that. I would probably still eat Taco Bell still. Like, I don't see that changing.
Spaghetti-o meatballs. We got
Spaghetti-o-meatballs.
cheese dogs and chili dogs. Definitely good ones out there. Okay, so when I was in high school, no, maybe it was college, right? I was getting college. I went to convenience stores, a gas station, and they had a book in there, and it was a cookbook for how you can like get things from a gas station and make meals off of all the different foods that were in there. And I think I had bought, I don't even think I could find it right now, but it was great. It would be like if you get a Twinkie and then you go get like this kind of beef jerky and this thing, you can make like meals from a convenience store. But here is one of my go-to staples that's kind of gross, is that I would get a tortilla, and then I would lay out a bunch of pepperonis on it, and then slap a square of cheese on that.
Oh, like a Kraft single.
A Kraft single, and put that in the microwave for 30 seconds, and then put a strip of mustard on it and roll that up.
Yeah.
I mean I like, that's a go-to cheap meal that I absolutely love, and I go for it all the time.
Ramen noodles, that's a great one. Like I would still probably eat ramen noodles. I would still probably eat like a Little Caesars pizza, like if I mean, if I was a millionaire or whatever, but still, like I feel like there's
cups
a
of
place.
ramen, man, those are good. Who's had Bulldog? Have you had Bulldog before? Have you not had Bulldog?
No, what is that?
Ryan's not had Bulldog.
Is that a ramen?
It's the new ramen thing that came out. It's like, you got to try it. You can find it at stores now. Buldak, and it's super super spicy. and it comes with like 2 packets of like spice or 1 big packet of spice, and it got banned somewhere because it's so spicy. But it's basically like super thick noodled ramen, and it's kind of like the new ramen. It costs a little bit more. 5 hot and ready is a sleeper for sure.
Totally. See, got this.
You know what? Hot Pockets. Just hilariously, I had a Hot Pocket today. Just for the hell of it.
Hot Pockets can't handle a Hot Pocket.
Why not?
Well, they have meat in them typically, but
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like that's like a very microwavable thing, which is tough. Like mac and cheese. I feel like there's tons of cheap things.
Cheap.
Like cheap things have tons of salt and sugar in them. And so
sure
you're
do.
like, hey, those things taste great. I don't care how much I'm making. Okay, last one.
Yeah. Krampus
How-
candy Hot Pockets. It's not proper. Oh my God. I gotta learn. Sorry.
How do you make friends as an adult?
Oh my God. This is a great one. This is probably like a whole topic here.
I feel like this is not a for fun one. Like literally tell me how you do this. Yeah. Darth in the chat, please tell me. I'd love to know how. Okay. You got to sign up for a thing. You got to go to a class, an in-person class, right? You got to take the pottery class. You got to go to hot yoga or whatever. Like you got to go to a thing where other people are that are about your age, and that is a physical thing that you do stuff together with. I feel like that's the only way that you make
I mean, you have to be around people. I would say signing up for a class, maybe not so much.
Because I feel like you have to be there, and you have to have like it's a consistent, and you have a mutual topic to talk about. Like if you're at a class that does darkroom photography, you all know that you sort of know about photography or care about photography, right? So you have like something to talk with people about, as opposed to going to like a bar altogether where you're like, there are people there and I don't know if I'm going to be able to know them or things like that. And who knows what you're going to talk about. Like you're there at a dedicated thing. You know that the person who's there is like out and doing things and not a hermit, right? So at least you have that as part of it.
Okay, so I'll take some of that, but I think that gets you in the door, but it doesn't get the friendship locked in. No. And so I would say, like, is being an authentic person,
sure,
being intentional about trying to make connections with
vulnerable,
folks. Vulnerable for sure. Like you can't go in and like have this wall up where you're not gonna be authentic. I think that's my thing is like. I try to show up, and there's certain people you have to have the wall up for because they're going to burn you. But then others you can kind of let in a little bit, and you can have that connection.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like people have gotten better about accepting it. Like Laura was saying, like, be your actual weird self. I feel like people accept that more. Like, I feel like we are in the prime of people being like, hey, if you're weird and different and fun, then like, that's great. At least that is something interesting and different, not having to put up like this is my, I don't know, work face or something like that in every part of our lives.
And knowing how to like balance it. So there's sometimes where if you're vulnerable with someone, even in like, let's say a workplace or anywhere, knowing like having the social awareness where you don't just go and tell everyone else about that thing. Like I had some people that are pretty vulnerable. Then you tell them something and then they tell everyone and you're like, what the heck? Like they're not trusted. So like there's some trust factor in there. There's some other things that develop those relationships.
I heard, so I do a bunch of network things on the side, right? Network leader right here.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm representing tonight.
Anyway. And they say that like, there's 3 things of doing, having, a network of a person that you do. One is trust. And one is reciprocity, right? Like you need to be able to give back to the relationship as much as you are getting, right? And so knowing if you're going to go out and do things, like you might need to be the one that goes, hey, we're thinking about meeting up after this darkroom photography thing and having drinks all together or something. Like don't expect other people to just invite you to everything. Like sometimes you got to be the one who puts yourself out there. Also, I would say it's amazing to have children and then have other people who have children of the same age. I feel like that is the easy way to do it. I feel like as soon as my children grow up and are out of the house, I'm going to have a harder time making friends. I'm really going to have to put it out there because, man, easy school, they have kids, you know, they're your kids and their kids are friends. That's an easy friend to make. You're starting on third base.
Higgly, hang out with poor people, then you can pay them to be your friend.
Great advice.
So we were like, going in, very vulnerable of you.
Yeah,
can we be
true.
friends?
I love it.
Oh man. I mean, I think this is a great topic, and so I would love to think about that because, you know, as an adult, I think the time factor is also a challenge here because
Right.
you have so much other things going on in your life. But if you have to be kind of choosy of who your friends are,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Because like you don't have enough time to give to everyone. Like you have your family, you have your kiddos, you have like
Totally.
certain people in your life that you just like it passes a certain threshold and you're like, you know what, you're my people and I want to hang out with you.
I would also say that there are friends in my life who I do projects with, like Adam, of course, like Adam and I would be friends even if we weren't doing a project, right? We just probably wouldn't communicate as much.
So
like,
weird, but
you know, hey, that's just how it is. But like, there's also friends that I have in my life who I do little projects with. Like Network Leader is one of them.
Yeah,
like there are
for
other
sure.
projects that I work on with people. And sometimes that can be good. It like forces you to get together and talk about the thing. And there's something about like scheduling a meeting and then you're like, yeah, we got to go to the thing and we got to talk about it. And so then, hey, then you end up talking with each other and you become friends.
So one last little note, I was this is a little off topic but still similar, is that they say like sometimes when you get really depressed or you're starting to feel down on yourself,
Right.
when you have somebody that can just give you like, I think it's like 7 minutes of their time, you can reconstitute yourself to where you feel better about life and the world and those kind of things. So when you can kind of like reach out to somebody in a certain case and it's like, hey, you know, can we just chit chat for a little bit, and they can show up and have that conversation with you, it kind of energizes you and you could get back to. So it's like finding those kinds of people that you're around and then they do that for you, that gives you that kind of in of like, hey, that could be somebody that would be my friend. And then you start working on that.
Totally. And if you have people in your life, in your network that are like detractor, like they call it, you know, like de-energizers,
Yeah.
right? Like people who are, you know, like constantly like taking your energy and bringing you down and doing like that. Like you only have so many people in your life, right? Like you know, you like, and you talk about like a minibus, you have this little minibus like and you can
Yeah.
only have so many people who are like, there's like 15 people typically that people have, between 8 and 15 people who are like, are in your core network of people. And then you have larger, you know, things out and out and out, you know, but like there's only so many people. And if one of those core people on your little minibus is like this de-energizer, man, it can suck the life right out of you. And you could be like, hey, there are techniques that people have to be like, distance yourself from that type of person and leave room then for bringing in cooler people. Kick them off the bus. Get the hell off my bus.
Yeah, get out of the bus. Leave them far behind. Peel
All right.
out.
That was good. That was
That's a
good.
good
Questions
one.
for humans. Always fun.
Thank you, chat. You were amazing,
Yeah,
and
totally.
Clearly you're our close
Yeah,
network
yeah,
here
exactly.
because
Right?
you're
All-
hanging
we're
out.
all friends. We're all friends. Cheers,
Cheers
to
to
that.
you. I'll drink my LaCroix.
Oh, you already finished your drink. Wow.
We did not have whiskey tonight. We
Tequila.
had a tequila night tonight.
Tequila, like, sour.
I put this jacket on because I'm cold, but that tequila is like heated me up so
Now-
bad.
now
I
you're
feel
ready
like
to
I
ditch
have to
it?
take this thing off
Yeah,
so
totally.
hard. I might have to do that at some point in the night.
Quarter zip ain't doing it.
No, I'm like burning up right now. All right, let's jump in, Ryan. What do you got with Xbox new Xbox Copilot?
Yeah.
I think we talked a little bit. Is there something we want to look at for this, or
We don't even really have to look at it. Basically, this was the thing that like Xbox is coming out with. It's not out yet. Coming out sometime in like April, I think, or May
this looks annoying.
for like early, or what are the Xbox early people called? I can't remember. Yeah, Network Leader sponsorship down the toilet. Damn it. Anyway, so there's this Copilot thing, and what they're trying to do is basically be like, hey, what if what we did talk about. Okay, now I'm remembering what we actually talked about. The super lame thing that was Twitch one, where it was like it's gonna be your like co person and call out people in the chat and be like, lame shot, Adam, you know, and it was like, whoa, super cringe. And so part of this is it's like, okay, say you had this and you had questions about like, why can't I install this game? Or like, what is these things? It could answer things, right? So that's one.
Should we try it?
The second thing, I mean, sure, you could show it, I guess. But then some other things is it was talking about like,
it's really loud. Hold on.
So now, like, let's say they cited like Overwatch 2. Say you were playing Overwatch 2 and you kept dying. Like, it might pop up and be like,
look at this one.
Hey, like, you know, is your for that class that you're playing, like, you should probably be hanging back more.
This seems so bad. Like, it feels like it's dumbing you down. Well, like, isn't that the...
But it's like...
Look at that. Look at what it's doing here. It's like... Oh, wait. Let's listen to this.
What do I do with that?
Craft the oak logs into wooden...
Oh, my God!
Well,
like,
so
is that the fun of a game?
No, well, like...
What the hell?
Is it supposed to be... Like, I would say that there are times when I would like to ask a thing and be like, what the hell is going on? Where is it? Like, I am the person that loved the Dead Space.
I was going to say, Ryan's the clicker of the Dead Space.
Push the button
thing.
And go, tell me where the path is, right? And if something was watching the screen and saying, you know, and I could be like, why can't I get to this checkpoint? Like, why won't this? Where is the checkpoint for this? And it'd be like, it's, you know, it's through the door and to the left, you know, like that's where I feel like the good part of this is. And you're like, great. Yes. Move me through this part that I'm getting frustrated at. Or like, I would bet if Minecraft was a little more tutorialized in the way that I would want it to be. Adam is the exact opposite. Adam wants to ram his head against stuff a million times and then be like, I figured it out. And now I'm like invested because I was the one who decided, you know, how to build a desk or whatever in Minecraft.
I am like 100% not the right person for this kind of thing, for sure. And I actually agree, and I figured that out about myself. But I can see where you're coming from, Ryan. There's this opportunity to... one thing you've said is you like Xbox in terms of Game Pass because you could play a bunch of games. This would also enable you to run through those games,
right? Probably
at a faster tick and get more experiences. So and it's like, I get you.
So two things that I have for maybe the future of something like this. What I would love is imagine going to something like Game Pass, right? And there's a level. Maybe I'm playing BioShock 2, right? On, you know, older game. And everybody goes, you know what? The first 6 hours of BioShock 2, not so great. But like, there's this level, 2 levels in the middle that are like masterpieces. The problem is I have to play through the full 6 hours because I need to be able to level up my things and get my stuff. Say I could just like jump to level 6 and it would be like, here's the deal, Ryan. You're at this point. Here's the storyline a little bit. You have these guns and these things. It could sort of like tutorialize it in the middle because it would know what I'm doing. I could jump into fun, different aspects of games without like having to, you know, learn it all and get slogged through the beginning of it. So I think that would be neat. The second thing is part of what I think is cool about AI is like not necessarily where it's going right now, which is like create this, you know, writing prompt for me and all of this. Like, how amazing would it be if like I'm trying to home network my computers, my wife and my's computers together. You know what, like Windows 11 is still terrible about is like walking me through the specifics of what I am doing, right? I'm still burying myself in Reddit threads trying to figure out how to do that. And like, it's not working and it's giving me errors and it doesn't tell me like why the error
But is that a gaming side of it or are you just saying AI in general?
I'm saying like almost in general of like a computer looking at what I'm doing in the moment and being like, here is instruction specific to your situation that you're doing right now.
So I think I agree with you, and I'm hoping whatever version of this that comes out has some different like scalability parts. Because one thing that I would love to use it for, and I've seen other gamers do this, is that it could be kind of like a note taker. So what if you're going through and you're like, here's a clue. Remember that you got to do cat, dog, moon, sun to cat, dog in the combo here because we found this little thing. Like keep that in your memory.
Puzzle something.
And like Resident Evil puzzles and all these things, and they would kind of like, hey, remember that thing that you did earlier and you told me to remember? Maybe this is that point where you bring it back out.
And how awesome would it be if there was like different versions of it, right? Like Ryan wants one that's just like, here's where we're going, here's what we're doing. Like maybe it's turned up to high, right? Or something. Where Adam's is a little more like subtle in the background. It's like suggesting games to you or something, but it knows like don't chirp up all the time and tell Adam where everything is because that's what he gets out of the game.
You didn't order a pizza, did you? Because there's a guy has the pizza at my front door, and I didn't order a pizza. But I'm gonna go see if he's the wrong person. Ryan's gonna keep talking about this. I'll be right back.
I would love
without
it.
a shirt.
He heard about the $5 fresh pizzas and how much we love them as our. Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be the Little Caesars one. I don't know. So I mean, this AI stuff for like games, I feel like Grandpa forgot he ordered a pizza. I mean, hey, get the pizza if it's good. You know, I'll eat some. Anyway. Ooh, while Adam's gone, little game, just as we're talking about games, been playing through Split Fiction. Been playing it with my wife, been playing it with my son. Super fun. I feel like an interesting, fun, like evolution of sort of, what It Takes Two was. I do feel like there's a little, I wish in some places it was a little more complex, you know, like I get that they're trying to do like a simple thing of having like two people go through, but I feel like it can be a little like baby's first, like puzzle game or baby's first platformer game. And I'm kind of like, I get that you want to like go through it with someone that maybe doesn't play video games as much, but then even then, like, there's some ways where, like, my wife, I feel like, is pretty good at playing video games. Like, she does that, you know? I mean, we play games, she play games. Like, we're fine with that. And then there's just, like, sometimes where she's dying a lot or I'm dying a lot in weird ways. But then sometimes where we're just, like, blowing through things. I don't know. I feel like there's a weird thing with it. Evil route in the story. I like the villain concept is overused. Yeah, I don't know how far. Like, I feel like we're still pretty close to the beginning of it. So maybe we haven't seen the entire arc. There's still, like, the two main characters still starting to get to know each other.
Wait, what are you playing?
We were talking about Split Fiction.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So I think it's good. Like, I've been enjoying it and playing it and doing things.
Yeah, do not spoil it because I'm gonna punch you because I want to play it so hard. It was not my pizza, but they did send it to my address. It was my neighbor, by the way.
Oh.
I was very much like, I'll take your pizza.
Give me that pizza. Of course I ordered this.
He was super confused. That's funny. I order so much pizza here that I'm sure that they're just like, of course, that's that guy.
Of course,
again.
that's
because I order it every
again.
Thursday for my kids when it's stream night.
Oh,
because then they.
Sure,
but I
they
didn't.
have dinner,
I
right?
didn't do it
That
this
makes
night.
sense.
But can I just say, because you're talking about Split Fiction, my son and I, he was. Some of his friends were on vacation, so they couldn't hang out for his birthday. So one of the things he wanted to do is like hang out with Dad or hang out with Grandpa. And so he and I played the hell out of It Takes Two. We had already beat it before, so we swapped characters this time.
Oh, you should play Split Fiction.
Oh yeah, so I was going to, but I only have an Xbox One or whatever upstairs, not the XS. You have to do it on the newer Xbox.
Really?
Yeah, we were like, Split Fiction, this is gonna be sweet.
What?
And then you have to play it on the newest Xbox.
I thought that was like never supposed to be a thing. I thought that like Xbox One was supposed to, and I don't feel like it's that crazy a game.
I thought so too, so I was a little disappointed. But
it
anyways,
was massive download.
There was another game that came out that was like co-op. I'm really hoping this catches on. I don't want to get off track. This is like, I think as a wrap on this on the AI, it's Xbox and the assistant. I'm really hoping it doesn't like dumbify people like playing games.
That's what AI is doing, is dumbifying people. So, that's what it's gonna do.
I know, that's the one because I remember, and I'm just gonna use this as my story, is when they showed Minecraft in there. When Minecraft first came out, and I don't know, this is like old man grandpa story. Jeez, I'm telling stories again. You become a grandpa and ramble.
That don't lead anywhere.
Is that I remember you drop into the world and it felt like it was so immense. Like there was so much to be discovered and there was no resource for me to like go figure it out. And so like getting wood and punching things, you're like, oh my God, I got something. Cool. What does this do? And then so you just like the exploration, the discovery, the curiosity. Like if you have a little AI being like, oh, you just picked up a thing. Do you want to go over to that thing and do this thing? Like it feels a little cheapened. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's where games have been going for a long time, right? Like old games, they didn't tell you crap about how to do it, and you died 5,000 times trying to jump over a thing that you weren't supposed to jump over, right? Like, and now they're like, everything is super tutorialized, and they don't want it to get too hard, and everything. It's just an evolution.
Well, Mike Azul said it earlier, too. It's like the startup is the biggest part of overcoming some games, because you got to dumbify it.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So,
nice. No, I thought that was a good conversation. What's
it was
next?
Good. This is me. It's my 6 months, baby.
What? 6 months.
Cheer. That's a good little icon that
Cheers.
you made. Is that what we did? That in AI, right?
Yep, that was the AI. Early animated AI stuff.
Very early animated.
Runway,
okay.
I think.
We just had to do that. That was a transition. So, okay, old man grandpa style here.
Man.
This came out It came out. Oh wait.
No.
I clicked on the wrong damn thing.
It's because the Trello boards are just in chaos now.
Because I don't know how to use technology, Ryan. I clicked on. Is this
tell
the
me
right
why-
button?
Tell me why I shouldn't take career advice from you.
It was so. This was a good article. It kind of hit home with me. So it was like a little blog post, super short. Got it from Tildays. I'm still on Tildays. Like I am all in on Tildays, man. I love it. You know why? Because I don't get the doom scroll. There's actually good conversations. Like I'm not seeing everything about politics. I know it's happening. I see that, and I have those themes, but this keeps me into some like normal space. There's normal humans having normal human things out there.
Love it.
So, if you're new to tech, say less than 5 years in the field, should you take career advice by anybody that's been in the industry for more than 10 or 15 years is basically the premise of what this post was about. And they were basically saying that hell no, because things have changed so much and so exponentially over these last 15 to 10 years that the way you got into tech is likely not the way that anybody else can get into tech today. So even myself, I work in IT. I never started an IT position. I found my way in through web development and getting to know some things. And what they were basically saying is that, you know, that discovery period of understanding things, it's gone. And there's a lot of other ways that you have to get into the tech field, and you can't just like stumble into it like you did before. So it's almost even like with any field, like an old man, you just gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Right. You
and
call up
there.
the CEO and tell them that you're excited about their thing and you want to take them out for coffee.
So it goes into saying it's dramatically different the way that they negotiate a lot of these pieces. So if you're coming from this older style, it's really not going to be the best way to go about it. So where do you go for that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in technology for 10 to 15 years. Are you saying people shouldn't come to you for advice about
getting into their career? Like if you're going to say, you know, back in my day kind of style of it, and we may not know it right now unless you've transitioned jobs maybe recently within fields and you know how to do some of the negotiations, go through some of the new challenges that of getting hired. Like AI is a big part of it now. I've heard that's a huge part of hires. Like they're using AI to look at your resume. People are using AI to write their resume.
Right.
And it's like just a whole new world out there as you start to get those jobs. So if
Yeah.
you're going and being like, oh, you have to write your resume with like these power words and this kind of thing on it, it's not going to be the same experience as 10 or 15 years ago because a paradigm has shifted.
Well, and I feel like this was always true, but it's just the time has shrunk, right?
Yes,
so,
that's a good point.
You know, like when we were getting into our fields, I probably wouldn't take advice from someone who had been in the field for 40 years, right? Like they didn't even use computers to do their stuff at that point, right? And so it'd be like, am I really going to take advice from them about it? But it's just when exponential things take off, right? The times that they shrink. And so now it'll be, 10 or 15 years if you've been in there. It's so different from it is now. And if I had to guess, my kids who will go into the fields when they are in their early 20s should probably not take advice from anyone who's been in the field for 5 or 6 or 10 years, right? Because it'll be so different from that. It's just going to shrink the amount of time that your perception and your reality has changed in that amount of time just so much.
And I think that's just great advice to think about. Even right now, I'm like, I see my kid, I'm like, you're on your phone too much.
Totally.
And I'm like, if I was my parent, they would probably be telling me that, I'm on my video games too much.
Totally.
And that's
watching TV too much.
Yeah, you just got to be a little bit more mindful and be like, all right, either this is how it is, and try to find where that line is, and you go from there.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, we're moving on.
Moving on.
What are we talking about?
Okay. So we're going to do a little bit this research study came out, earlier this month, basically. And what it was kind of looking at how do AIs perform and how, to do a certain task, how successful are they at doing a specific task? And so this had been a study that had started way back with ChatGPT 2.0 or something like that. And it was they would give them specific tasks to do. And if it got, if it did it good, 50% of the time or whatever, then they counted it as, yes, it did well. And so what they, kind of the big headline that came out of this is that this was Moore's Law for AI, right? Whereas Moore's Law is that transistors on
don't even. That's our next topic.
Well, but I kind of have to explain it if we're doing
enough,
this. I feel like we'll talk about it, but Moore's Law is that it will double computer power or whatever will double every 18 months.
Let's go to it. Yeah, it was coined by Gordon Moore. It's 1965.
In Intel, early Intel, right?
Absolutely. That the number of transistors on a microchip doubles every 18 to 24 months. So basically it was saying it was leading to this corresponding increase in computing power.
But with no increase in price, basically, or a decrease, in price. Because tons of stuff you can mine the double amount of diamonds that you made last year. That's a doubling of how many diamonds you're doing, but you have to put tons more effort into it. You have to dig more stuff. Your car can go twice as fast as it did before, but you got to put in more gasoline. So there's only very few things in life where you could get double the amount in a short amount of time with the price going down. And so that's what they're saying basically about AI is that so Moore's Law doubling every 18 months, right? And it lasted for decades. And I don't even know if it is still
it's kind of fallen off a little bit.
It's fallen off a little bit now. But so basically they were saying that from ChatGPT 2.0 to ChatGPT whatever we're at now 4.5 is their doubling is happening every 7 months. And so quite a bit faster, right? Of how fastly or how fast it can is doing these tasks and being able to get the amount. And they were saying even then that was because we're at freaking ChatGPT 2 is still built into that calculation. Really, it's more now that we're ramping up and they're getting way better and more people are doing it and there's more competition and there's more everything and more money getting put into it. It's really more doubling every 3 months, which is pretty crazy. It's just that exponential growth, right? Like it's seeing that curve in real life. And
should we look at some of these graphs here?
Yeah.
I think that might be something to get little names off there. So what was this? This was kind of what you were talking about, the model release date.
Right.
And then the ability to do better things in this time frames, right?
Yeah. So I mean, really there's not even all that much to say about this except for yes, we are definitely on it feels like an exponential curve. And I feel like when you compare it to something like Moore's law, where you go, man, computers, they got fast pretty damn quick, right? Like, and it was still taking 18 months for them to double. And if now you're talking about it doubling every 3 months, like that's a lot of exponential growth right there.
Yeah, this is, say it's using human performance as a baseline, and like they're showing how fast these different recognitions, comprehensions,
and I feel like
reasoning have
this
been...
this is part of the thing that you see with like people in AI when they're talking about it and stuff. I mean, the Anthropic guy was basically like all code is going to be written by AI by the end of this year, or 90% is going to be written by the end of this year. Like all code for that.
do you have to have people to do it? Like you can't just do it itself. Like people will still have to run the AI.
Totally, but like how much fewer people?
Yeah, that's the problem. They're saying like 50% of industry is what they're like. There's been this massive like layoffs and things that are happening because people are using AI.
Absolutely, and I feel like part of it is too like. Not only just the coding side of it, but they were talking about marketing and sales stuff where you can just like automate all of these different processes with agents and everything that they're going to be doing. I mean, a bunch of that is going to go away. Like it's just going really fast. And from what I've heard, it's almost like the amount that humans are actually putting it into processes is the bottleneck at this point. Like we could be doing so much more with the AI that we have right now, right? It doesn't need to be exponentially growing double as fast every 3 months. Like if it literally stopped right now, we would have years and years to be able to build up like the processes and how it gets actually done into it and built into business, things. Like it's just, we are the bottleneck at this point. And man, but it's only going to be get going faster. So it also makes me think that, it feels like one of those where you were talking about the story that we had right before this of don't ask people about like how this is going to be. I mean, that is going to shrink really fast, like to where my perception of what college kids are doing right now and building things and doing stuff, like talk about feeling like grandpa, right? Like if you're not AI first in everything that you're doing, I feel like that you're going to be behind in all of that.
I think you're absolutely right to bring this up. It's like it's the topic that I think about and kind of fear is like, what is even the future for our kids? Totally. What is the future for others? If AI does it all, like what are we doing? This is where the whole concept we talk about, this universal income and things like we need to start thinking about, because if it's getting us to a point where we don't have to do all these things anymore. It's
a change in the social contract. That's what everybody keeps talking about. Like there will be a point where it can do all knowledge work, and then like you got to change the social because the social contract right now is like learn a bunch of stuff, go to college, get smarter, get a job that does that. And that's what pays well, right? If you have like a specialty and a thing and it goes towards the economics and, just like of how businesses work, that's what gets paid more. And that's what's like, we prize in our society.
You were like queuing up this next topic really well. I don't know if you'd realize that.
A little bit.
Ryan was going for it with that. So, no, I think that's the thing. It's going quick right now. Where are we headed with it? Now, I don't think it's going to get to this next topic because of AI, yes, necessarily, but it'll probably assist in what we're about to talk about in a little bit here. But that was I really appreciate you bringing that. We talked a little bit about Moore's Law. One thing that we wanted to say, and I guess that I was wanting to bring up, is Ryan had mentioned Moore's Law earlier. And I'll do this one as a quick hit. Is that I was talking about Moore's Law at one point, and it was like, oh yeah, it's where technology doubles every, certain amount every year or something like that. And somebody called BS on me. And, I was like, you know what? You're right. I didn't do my due diligence to really understand what Moore's Law was about. And so when you really distill it down, if you're ever going to use or quote Moore's Law, it's typically misapplied and how it's been used. People have just kind of taken it and said, yeah, it's how technology exponentially grows and it's on this upswing. And it really did, as we talked about earlier, just mention about chipsets basically doubling the semiconductor hardware.
Right.
So it's not a real law. It's not a thing. There's no Moore's Law. It's economics, engineering. And it really isn't about software because
it's not a law of physics.
Not at all. And so it's not really predictive either. So there aren't things that you can say, yeah, Moore's Law says, and you'll be this way in 5 or 6 years.
Sure.
So it's like the hardware or the chipsets might be exponentially growing, but it's not going to affect maybe the processing. That might be more or less, like kind of with AI. We've done some additional things there. So it's kind of catchy, can be confusing. Just wanted to throw that out there.
It's been like a catch-all phrase, right? For anything that is growing quickly but takes less resources or the same amount of resources to get to that growth, right? Which I just feel like doesn't happen a lot in normal life, right? Like I can't grow twice as many potatoes in 18 months and not have put more into it, right? Like it's going to cost more seeds and more soil and more sun and more everything and more work to get them up. Like all of that goes into doing it. Mm-hmm. And so there's very few exponential growth like things like that. And your transistor chips are one of them, and AI is one of them that seems to be going even faster. And maybe even UIs could go even faster than that.
So we had I'll end on a comment we see from Darth Goracorn. It's like, agree with universal income as long as the drive and ambition to get extremely rich don't get punished for their ambition. And I would say that could go on a whole different path here. I think that there's what is the line where you can say I could live, I could do what I like and enjoy life, and I'm doing my passion. Sometimes the people that get rich are getting rich on other people though. Totally. is the challenge. And so where is the threshold on getting rich, and where is that point where you could say, okay, you're rich enough that you could buy 1 billion people's lives for the next 1 billion years or whatever. It's there's this class war that we're not going to get into. So I agree. I would love to have my passion to be able to do the things that I love to do, get paid for it and still have that ambition. I think also other people, and I'm not talking about, some of the people in this group, but some people are going to take advantage of that.
Sure.
And that's the other hard part. And I think that's where there's going to always be a challenge. So it's going to be really difficult to navigate this as we go forward.
Well, and I feel like where do you get drive and ambition? A lot of times that's because you're trying to make a better life for yourself, better life for your family and everything. And, it's not all intrinsic, it's not intrinsic drive and stuff. Part of it comes the great things that we build is because a little bit you want to have a private jet, or you think that could be on the horizon, or you want to be able to send your kids to college or do all those types of things. And so you create, new ideas, and you come up with new things, and you drive towards business, new little business, or you try to get that new job. Right. And so if all of those things are off the table and everyone is just more even, then you got to have more intrinsic, drive to something like this that Adam and I are doing. But even this that Adam and I are doing, part of that is hey, it'd be neat to have more people, follow us and do more things. And if it made a little bit of money, then you could be maybe we would not have to work 50 hours a week to do something, and we could do something more like this, but when if say you had a universal basic income, you would be able to do more things like this and just sort of top off your income with the, So
and I love the conversation, and I love where the chat's going. Is that like I think this is one of those situations where yes, it's like we could go back and forth on like, people going off on people. There's certain thresholds where we get caught in these cogs, if you will, of having to do things to provide for our families, and so you always are like have the carrot that you're gonna get rich, but you never really do, because there's somebody that knows that like we need you to do this, and you know what, you got to go pay and make sure you got your health care, and you got to make sure that you're paying this bill right over here, and it's always like, oh, maybe I could get rich if I do this thing. It's like, no, you really can't. If you don't, the ambition won't take you, pulling your bootstraps won't get you there.
Exactly.
It's got to be some other things that get you to that threshold. Ryan and I could go down this. This is the after hours with Ryan and Adam hangout that we get to this level. We try to make this as fun as possible, so it's true hangout level. So I think this is a great time to transition to our main topic of the night, and it's uploaded intelligence. So I'm gonna just go with our opened here. We actually did a little prep for this one, and so I'm gonna do the tagline, right? So just imagine where put your hat on. You're getting into a podcast. Imagine living forever, not in your body, but as data, a digital version of you thinking, feeling, and experiencing in a virtual world. Sci-fi. Maybe not for long. All right, Ryan. Uploaded intelligence is the topic of the night. You had some ideas. You wanted to start with some pop culture. Let's just like set the ground of what we're going to talk about tonight.
I mean, the reason that we're thinking about this and doing this is because, hey, we've been watching a show. There's a show that Adam brought up in literally the last time that we met together. He brought up, he was like, "Are you watching Pantheon? Like, you're not watching Pantheon?" And I didn't realize this is a couple years old at this point. Like the original first season was, because it was on AMC Plus or something like that. And then it got picked up by Netflix, and then Netflix did a second season. The second season just came out. And so between last Thursday and this Thursday, I've watched 16 hours of Pantheon. Like I basically binged 18, 2 seasons, 2 full seasons. Love the show. Great rec, Adam. Like totally in my wheelhouse. And part of it, like I read a lot of sci-fi. I watch a lot of sci-fi. That is a cool genre that I like, obviously, for all the stuff that we talk about. And uploaded intelligence like becomes a lot of part of that, The Matrix, a big one. Altered Carbon, a big one. Pantheon, a big one. Like there's books. I love the Neil Stephenson book, Fall, or like Dodge in Hell. Like that is a really good one that talks about uploaded. And they all have like very different, takes on it, and how we get there, and what happens when we get there, and how we're going to interact with it.
You can't talk about any of these pop cultures without putting Severance in, or Mike is going to get on you right there. He is all about Severance. So Here's the deal, just so you can get. So last time we talked about it a little bit, and you just named some really good ones out there. So if you want to get the gist, is Pantheon is actually based off some short stories. It's called like The Hidden Girl and Other Stories by Ken Liu. And there's like the gods can't be the short story's name. I have to look it up. Like the gods can't be killed or something like that. There's 3 short stories. If you listen to it on audiobooks, about 45 minutes per short story of those 3. And that's what Pantheon is based on. So just so you can kind of get the context of what we want to talk about tonight, is that the Pantheon animated series, which came out on AMC, but you can now watch it 2 seasons on Netflix. You got Netflix. Is it talks about uploading the human mind into a construct, into a computer, so to speak.
Yeah.
And we're not going to spoil it tonight. So if you want to go watch it, absolutely go watch it. This you'll figure this out in the first little bit of the show itself. But the concept is that you have to go down to the neurons, and it's able to scan someone's brain and bring that up into a digitized format where they kind of live, so to speak, in a computer or in the cloud. And so
and the ramifications of all of that, right? And how that affects the people around them, and how that affects the person who is scanned and uploaded, and what their powers are, and what their limitations are, and all of that kind of stuff.
And of course, the series and even the book kind of goes on the idea that, of course, that it wasn't done just because they were going to be like, let's upload a human brain.
Sure.
It was more like, hey, this person that's really important to our company does some really great thinking, and we want to take their brain and take this little chunk of what they do well and be able to replicate it into an uploaded intelligence, and let's take out all the things that make it human and just start to grind on what that is. And then let's look at the societal changes that might happen if that happens, and what starts to happen when it gets out, and it goes on for a narrative and a novel of what this looks like. And so check out that story. I'm glad Ryan and I talked about it before we got on tonight, just so we could talk about how that ended and where that had gone. But what it gets down to is I think we got to start where the science is now. So if we're thinking about yourself right now and you're like, man, upload me. Like, I'm done with this physical meaty body. I'm done being embodied. Get me into something. Can we do it now?
No.
Yes, we can. By the way,
you're like plug in Adam and get him uploaded.
25% discount if you mention the Adam and Ryan the Hangout. No, so he's scanning the brain at ultra high resolution. It is possible they do that. So we've heard about this. I think if you've been to some of the museums, they like slice like the brain.
Oh yeah, I saw the body. I saw the bodies exhibit.
So they can like cut it, they can scan it, they can do that, but at what resolution?
Yeah.
You can only do it for small like tissue samples. You can get down to really high resolution, but it gets just like basically dead tissue.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get down to the like the specificity.
The neurons and how they connect and how the electricity is how you are right? Your memories and all of that kind of stuff. So like a dead version of your brain doing that feels like, I don't know. I assume it doesn't translate into an Adam Pocious bot
no.
just because you're scanning your dead brain.
And so they were saying like there are interfaces, and we've seen this before, where you can kind of like connect the brain to a computer. I know that they do this with like people that can't hear, some people that can't see. They can kind of put things on someone's brain, or you can like create things so you don't have seizures.
Yeah.
There's all these different methods, but it only like affects hundreds of neurons, and we're talking like 86 billion neurons in your head. So like we're far off.
And even like we talked about AI, right? Like there was a line of science about AI where they were like, how we get to, artificial general intelligence is like mimicking what the brain does, right? And neurons, I don't know if you remember, like they would talk about, the only way we're going to get to AI is like a little baby, version of the AI. And then it learns things and it grows just like a human brain. And we've sort of like ditched that to just go this like large language model, like way of that. But like for a long time, that was how they thought we were going to get to sort of AGI. And maybe it still will be. We might hit some kind of bottleneck with these large language models, but there was part of it that they thought, yeah, let's mimic the human brain and try to do it that way.
So the analogy, at least as of this point, is to be able to scan, to get to that level of detail. It's like trying to copy the contents of the internet using a dial-up connection and a camera phone. So it's really going to be a difficult process. I'm seeing what I'm seeing over in the chat here. It's like we are making major advancements. Like we're even able to say, hey, this might be plausible. Like it's not even like a full no stop. It's just saying, hey, we're thinking maybe 150 years with our current, if we took current tech and we steadily did that.
Who said 150 years?
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if it was ChatGPT that I looked a little bit about that, but they were saying like if you looked at it and we were at the course of technology that we're going right at this moment, and it was not Moore's law versioned, maybe you could think about that.
And everybody thought we would get to AGI. You asked people what their P-doom was a while ago, and they were like 50 years, and now it's like 2026.
and this is where, of course, like if ChatGPT, I don't trust a damn thing that comes out of its mouth. But what the idea would be is that if we're doing this right now and we're basically barely able to get, hundreds of neurons scanned to any kind of like level of accuracy, part of it is also the power the ability to get to that level, the ability then to take that and then assemble it into there and then run the model itself. Like, it's not just like the scanning. It's like there's all these other elements of it that we have to perfect that is going to take some time.
Yeah. And the power, right? That it
I
takes.
think I mean, it talks. I think we're talking about quantum computing here. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to need something that can do it at a very different scale than what we have even right now.
And I feel like AI can help us, figure out some of those things. So maybe that shortens the timeline a little.
So we got a comment, and I think it's a good little like diversion on this topic as we go before we get into like what the future version looks like. Is we're talking about deep research mode on even AI, and have you used it, Ryan? I know you have.
I have. I played with it a little bit. I feel like I'm not in the type of position that needs to do deep research like that. I'm not in a research position, so I haven't found like day-to-day uses for it, but it's definitely cool.
So, yeah, I've used it for a couple things, and at least it said on my version, I have the pay version, or at least the lowest pay version on ChatGPT, and it's like you have basically 11 tries until a month from now.
Yeah.
And so I was like, damn. So I went to normal version. I was like, hey, I only got 11 tries on deep research. Help me build the prompt for deep research that I want to do. And so I spent probably an hour building like the prompt on it. And then I chucked it into deep research, and it took a minute.
Yeah.
Like, it was going out and doing things. So basically what deep research, like if you do any ChatGPT now, you go chuck something in there, spits it out immediately, and you see it in real time. Whereas deep research, you give it a prompt and it goes and it thinks, it researches, it checks itself. It's almost, I would hate to say it's reasoning and thinking, but it like it has this idea of like it probably writes something out, checks what it wrote, and said, "Is this valid? Maybe I should go check this again." And it almost like really goes back on itself to go look at what it looks like.
Totally.
So I think that's important, and why I would maybe even bring that up in deep research is as you go back to like saying, what is the future state of an uploaded intelligence? So let's just say we somehow figure out how to get the compute. We get down to that that level of being able to scan the human brain. So how would you do it? Like, what would a future version of this look like? And you kind of mentioned this earlier with like Ray Kurzweil and other kind of areas, is that like how, if you have dead tissue, you're not going to get some of these like connectors and these things that are happening in the brain to be able to recreate or upload the brain.
Yeah.
So how would you do that? How could you do something on living tissue or a live person? Let's say that's the scenario. And one of the cool ideas, as I heard, is that you'd have like nanobots or quantum scanners,
Right.
that would look at the brain to recreate it digitally.
That's definitely a Ray Kurzweil thing, right? Like he's always talking about nanobots, that we're going to get to some point where there's just nanobots in your bloodstream, looking at things. How healthy are you? Like scanning you constantly. And I could see that being in your brain, right? Like it's looking at your brain, it's scanning those, it's bringing it back to some large database that's just sort of building a ongoing perception of who you are constantly. So it's not a just thing where you go like, okay, take Adam, hurry up, he's about ready to die, scan his brain. It's like doing it constantly in the background and building you and building out your profile of like who you are and what made you you and all of that kind of stuff, so that when you do die, or when you decide the hell with this meat bag, like I'm going into the virtual world, I'm going into the metaverse or whatever, that like it can recreate you pretty well in that. I mean, we're going to get to a point, I'm sure, in this conversation where we go, is that you, or is that just like a great copy of you?
And I think Mike Gazul already brought it up, and that was absolutely the next topic, is the philosophical and ethical pieces of this. And so I did think about this a bit, is that it's a copy, is like what makes you you. It's like you're conscious, there's that side of it. But if you get yourself in there, so let's say you're like, all right, I'm scheduling my upload, and you go sit in the chair, the nanobots go in your head, or whatever's quantum scanner does the thing, and now your thing is in the digital world. Like, it keeps going, right? It keeps learning. So maybe the version of you is it keeps learning. It's like, is it a clone of you? Maybe instead of a digital copy, at that point. Like the other side is that does your body keep living, or do you like does that go away? That would be one thing I would think about. But yeah, what happens to your physical body at that point? And then the other side is like, could you put checkpoints on yourself? You're like, all right, I'm about to do something really stupid. Save. All right, and you do the thing. Nope. Redo.
I mean, it's like the thing that people always said with Star Trek, right? If you teleport yourself, it's breaking down all of your molecules and then reassembling your molecules. Is that you at that point? Like, or is that just a copy of you? And say you went through and did the scanning, and now you're in the computer world, but you're still you out in the non-computer world. I still think of that as me. And if I die, yeah, that video game copy of me is out there running around acting just like Ryan, but that isn't like my perception of me has done. Like it's gone away. At that point, it almost seems just like better for other people because like when I die, other people are still around and they want to still hear from Ryan because they like me or whatever, right? And so that helps everyone else, you know? Ryan's still here. He acts just like Ryan. He sounds just like Ryan, does everything. But like, for me, I feel like my perception of me is still just blackness at that point,
well,
right?
and see, this is where we could go between the two kind of points here. So, if you started as a perfect copy,
Yeah.
you might feel like you from the inside. You just be like, this is me. Like I could see the argument of like, no, this is me. Like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, I just got put in this computer, guys. Seriously, I'm like here. And you would, if you had it just to the perfection of being able to like have all your memories, have all the different personality, all the behavioral traits, that you would be like, no, I'm really feeling like I'm here. Now I'm learning, like it feels weird or whatever this looks like.
The biggest thing I think is like, imagine that in a scenario where you are not dead. It would feel like a little copy video game character of you on the screen, right? You'd be like, yeah, there he is. My God, he acts just like me and does everything. And then if I was to then slit your throat, like, that's just a video game copy of you on the screen that everybody else seems to think is Adam, right? And it sounds just like him and everything, but you are still on the floor, a dead version of you. Like, so this is always sort of, I was thinking, you know, this could be a cool short story or this could be something.
Yeah.
But like, I think what you would need to do is you would need to ease into that virtual version of you over like decades.
Ooh,
maybe.
I like that idea.
Right? So like you're slowly building up this version of you. Maybe it's a separate version of you that I'm seeing in VR and we're talking and hanging out. And sometimes I would like my brain would embody them and I would live as sort of the VR person in there. And just as I got older, I would just do more and more of that. I would spend less time in my real body and more time in the visual, in like the virtual avatar, until I was spending all my time as the virtual avatar. And then you would be like, what if your body just went away at some point, you know? And you'd be like, well, I didn't care about that body anyway. I was spending 99% of my time in the virtual world, and now my body just slowly goes away. And then I'm like, okay, that's me. I'm still me. I've eased into this thing, and now it sort of feels like that is just me in this world. You know, it's like the slowly getting into the hot water, right? Like if you just jump in, you're like, God, you know, but if you slowly ease yourself, and I personally don't think necessarily that there's much difference. I still feel like your body is you and like your body is a big part of who you are. So I still think it's going to be a little bit like that is a copy of you. But I feel like the only way that you can even make it somewhat where it doesn't just feel like there's a cutoff line and now this is video game Ryan that everybody gets to interact with is like really melding those two over like decades.
And I think I love that. And I was like, I was vibing with that. That was a good story. Good job, Ryan.
I always thought that would be,
Copyrighted.
like, exactly. I just gave it out to the world, but like, I think that would be a cool short story, or maybe even a video game where you're like, imagine a video game where you don't know what's happening. And there's like a version of you and you're interacting with them and doing stuff and taking over. And then by the end of the video game, you realize what is happening. And you're like, right, I'm becoming this person because I'm dying in the real world.
So this was great, this conversation, because it goes to one of the questions we had is like, would we pursue the uploading if we couldn't really guarantee this consciousness, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of this, the chat, great chat about this. And so I think there's some good points back and forth. So like without a conscience experience, like it feels like we would kind of hollow,
Right.
It like they're like we're saying right now, like we are just this avatar that like you can die and come back and it's like, yeah, whatever. Like we're really not ourselves, or it's just a really, really great facsimile of like what you can do. You're like, that sounds, acts, and says everything that Ryan is, but it's just a computer processing that. But isn't that what we do now? Right. I don't know. So the other side of it, and we talked about this a little earlier, is like mental health. Could you not have as much issues as you may have had in the past, and like you're developing a new like it would be new, it would be something different that you're experiencing at that point. Like you'd have like be trading the embodied experience for the virtual experience. If you watch Pantheon, there's some concepts around like if you are in a virtual world, clearly there's going to be some differences to how fast you think, how you communicate, how things would happen. So I don't know. It could be as we talked about the counterpoints and the points, is it could like help you understand even what consciousness is. We don't know. Like, where is the level right now? Whereas, like, I was thinking about this the other day. With like we put ourselves in, like, what if I took out all the stuff of my grandfather, because he has all these writings, all these like recordings, all this stuff that he's had, and I could take it and I could put it into an AI. And it would probably reasonably sound like my dead grandfather.
Sure.
And then, you would be like, is that him? Clearly not. It's just recordings and like pieces and parts. But it would trick my brain into saying like, okay, I'm having a conversation with this person.
Totally.
But if you did it at a level of that deepness to upload yourself, where's the threshold where it starts to become like you're just now transitioned to this other self and you're moving on?
And I mean, there's a book series called the Bobaverse on Audible that is not even a real book. It's only done through Audible, and they've had 4 or 5. And that's how they do space travel. Is you're like, hey, you're just a consciousness in this thing. You can go faster than you can go the speed of light. Like your body doesn't need to, be any of those things. Then great, easy to shoot you out into space and then reconstitute yourself when we get to this planet, and then put yourself into like a robot body that can feel and do things. And then now you're checking out Mars, like easy to do that at that point. Yeah. It's, I think somebody had said, maybe Darth in the chat, is like, you would almost have to like be born into that situation for that to be truly like how, like it is like, if you had a physical body, can you ever be in the virtual world like fully without it just being a copy of you? Or do you need to be born into the virtual world in order to live a full, existence and seem like,
it's crazy as you talk about that too, is that like, you'd get uploaded intelligence, let's say, but then you'd have like babies,
right?
Computer intelligence that gets built off of that. The other side of it too, that I think is an interesting concept, is like the idea of melding kind of like these consciences, and
so
like
we
talk about
your baby, right?
Talk about well, there's like that's how you make your baby, or you make unions of AI to become like, I don't know, married is even the right word in that.
Right. Yeah.
But you create these things. So like there was a topic I wanted to pivot to for a second, and then we'll go into some more questions we had, is that like, what is the implications of this? So we'll get back into this conversation deep on like some of the philosophical, but who owns your digital mind?
Right.
Think about this, is that, to get it somewhere, it has to live in some environment that requires some amount of power and amount of other things. So we'd be trading having to like go get food, drive to different places quickly and do all these other things for just now focused on power.
A server.
To server or some sort of thing. So there has to be something physical going on unless we can figure out some other world that like can run off of some kind of power for, crazy amount of time. Like somehow use the sun or a star to like keep some, but there's something physical.
Dyson sphere.
Yeah. So who owns it? Is it a company? Is it the government? And then like, of course, then that goes into the inequality and like, do you get like a super awesome upload because you're super rich? Then it goes like really perfect, and you have like the poor, and it creates a whole nother thing.
Well, and we talked about like what you were just saying. Should you trust the older people in your lives to give you advice, right? And I feel like there's a thing. Like right now, my in-laws are visiting, right? And my father-in-law, he's like 80 years old, and he went to this, conference that he's been going to since the 70s. And it's gotten bigger and crazier, and he's like a big part of it. And he, used to be like almost just like the headliner of it, almost practically, right? And now he goes and like, he's a little bit sidelined, like there are new people coming up in the organization. Like not everybody wants to listen to the 80-year-olds, symposium that they're giving. Right. And I feel like that's just the nature. That's just the cycle of life, right? Like new people need to come in and do new leadership and new ideas and new stuff like that. Say you had a thing, like the Democratic Party is going through this, like all sorts of different like organizations do this. And sometimes the only way that people leave leadership is by freaking dying, right? Like that's the only way that you can get rid of them and have the new generation come in with their new ideas. And in a world like this, does anyone ever die? Does anyone ever not become the head person of this? Like, would we just have, like Ford being, Henry Ford or whatever, like the guy, like, or Rockefeller or something like that, who is super racist and terrible. Like he would just have lived forever, and now he's still the person who's in charge of the entire, economy. Like, no, he needed to die, and the new version and with new policies and new ideas needed to come in after him.
But see, you're using your human brain, so you're uploaded now. So you could create all of your own little friends and your own environment. And you're like, you may not even know that there's another thing off to the side. Like, of course I don't know. I'm not uploaded, so I wouldn't know. But
don't you think like there's still have to be like governing laws of how people work inside of that, thing,
I think
right?
So.
Or like who, I assume it's not just a flat hierarchy, I'd assume it's just not like a flat structure.
Like who gets the most cycles?
Who gets the most cycles? Who's allowed to have more, virtual babies? Who's allowed to meld with each other and all of that? That's something, I assume. And so then you're like, well, that person who was the first one in there or was the richest when we first got in, who the hell is that person? Like, and why are they so, powerful and they never can have to give up control?
So I think these are absolutely like the questions, and this is the fun part because I think that was even what some of these short stories we looked about. You talked about altered carbon. That gave me a good idea. Is that like altered carbon? If you haven't read the book or watched the show. The concept was that people really couldn't die. They'd have what were called sleeves. And essentially you would be able to download your consciousness into what you would equate to like one piece of your spine, and it would fit into your neck. And the only way that you'd really die is if that thing got destroyed. But some of the rich people, they would like have insta clones that would go, and so they couldn't die, and they were the ones that were like uber rich and lived forever and just basically ran society. And then there was all these laws where like if you're poor, and there was an example of like a little girl, and she like got hit by a car, and so they're like, yep, here's your government issued sleeve, which is like a 60-year-old guy that's like old, and she's like jammed into that body, and they're like, oh my god. And so I think you're gonna still have the inequality There's going to be people that always want to be on the top of everything.
Yeah.
It'd create quite an issue.
Yeah.
Would
Yep.
you choose to live forever in a virtual world? That's the question. Chat, would you do this? If we had this as an option, because I could see it's also polarized in a future state. You'd be people that were absolutely against it, and they're like, you know what? Death is the natural order. I want a natural life and a death, and that's where I'm at.
We have a hell no and an absolutely in the chat, straight one after the other. So obviously polarizing a little bit. I mean, I would think that I would want to try to live in my body as long as I could, at that point, and then maybe why not? Like,
Yeah, it's there's a piece of me that if you had the ability to self like terminate in that world or create an expiration to it, like if I was getting towards the end of my life, or there was an opportunity and things are going bad, climate change is taking over the world, like we figured out this thing and we're going to put everyone in this cube and shoot it into space and you could live as a virtual whatever. Like, if I could somehow like also make sure I could get out of that in some way, I would think to do it.
Like I'm not going to be the guinea pig that tries it, like, and ends up, is just some sort of like slave inside of some weird, dystopian virtual world that some billionaire created. Like, that sucks. But if it's a thing that's already happening and, like Adam's already there, Adam already figured it out. And,
oh yeah, I go first.
I'm like, all
early
right.
adopter. You know what I was thinking too is you get uploaded. That probably, like, the experience of the time would be so, like, you could live hundreds of years in like a second.
Right.
And so you could have all these different experiences and things that you may have never even,
In that Bobaverse thing, they talk about like turning up the speed of your thing. So you're like, oh wait, I'm having a conversation with someone, but I got to think about this. They like ramp the speed down real quick. And so then you're like, you could think about it for an hour, and really it only takes a second in real life. And then you're like, okay, turn it back up to real time. And then you're like, yeah, here's what I think, and so they'll like turn it up and turn it down for like space travel and things like that, to where you don't want to experience that time. It's kind of neat.
So as I'm looking at the chat, one of the things that I would pivot on this conversation is that, and maybe we need to go to this direction, is like maybe we're already in a simulation right now.
Oh, sure.
And simulation theory is a thing that I've also thought about. We talk about Matrix and things like that. So if we start to think about how far we're getting at being able to do simulations, one of the examples that kind of like got me thinking about this is like, if you think about, I think it was in the 80s or whatever when Pong came out. And not that we remember when Pong came out, but we know what Pong is, right?
Yep.
You got pixels bouncing around go play one of the most modern games you can play right now and look at the damn realism in that game.
Right.
Like, look how far we've come in just 40 years or something like that.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive. So the idea, and now we can put, things on our heads. Think about if you go walk down the street, a busy street, what are you seeing? Not necessarily busy with cars, but busy with people. Their heads are in a freaking phone walking around. They're already projecting themselves in a virtual world. How much time do you spend with your mind in that virtual world when you're looking at that phone, right?
Hey.
Now, there's a gap there. We're air gapped at this point. But the concept of us being okay with being in those virtual spaces, just mentally, we spend a lot of time there. We spend a lot of time instead of in front of a screen. Like, what's the next step of being in the screen?
Sure. I mean, it's part of the Fermi paradox and things like that, right? Of why aren't there aliens everywhere? Because aliens could have had billions of years too, and we've only made computers in the last 50 or 60 years, and look how far it's gotten. Imagine if you had a million extra years doing that. Why isn't there just aliens with warp drives and doing stuff and being around and everywhere? You should have been able to populate the entire universe for that. Seems a little weird that we're the only world there. And then you go, is it because it's a simulation where we're only allowed to be the only ones there? So some of that sort of leads itself to the simulation theory.
And the other thing too is, and this is interesting for me, is like how many, I hate to say it, but like I feel like some people are bots. There are a lot of
Just
bots out
NPCs?
there, like empty shells. Like they go home and just tea in their house. and like they're T-posing in their house, and it, like you see some people, you're just like, you are on a freaking cycle, like you were just doing the thing. Like I don't know, maybe I am too, but
Right, there you
to
go.
others, but it's there is something like it. This is where the Matrix gets into that. So what I guess I'm getting at is that this uploaded intelligence and us talking about it, like maybe we're in some version of something that we just don't know about.
It could totally be that. Yeah. All right, that was good. I feel like that was a good. Was there more? Is there more? Did you?
Well,
wanted to
I
hit
think
for
there was a
this one?
couple other questions and we can round this out. So, like, if you committed a crime in a digital world, let's say you're in there, would you be responsible for anything? Like, what could you even do?
Like stealing people's power or
Well, I
something
guess
like
that would be one
at that
thing.
point?
Like, yeah, draining them and like, yeah, you could probably do that.
Or like forcing them into some sort of experience that they weren't wanting to be in, right? Like trolling them and putting them inside like a volcano thing or something that slowly tortures them, or I don't know, something like that. Yeah, exactly. And then who are the police, right? And who polices the police? And there's still hierarchy there. And are the police just the police forever? Like same police force,
Well,
with the
that's
same ideas?
I think you're putting it into physical world things. Like, it's probably not even conceivable what would be considered a crime in some of the space. Because we're thinking like physical bodies and things like, yeah, it's like, okay, you killed the person. Pfft, I'm back. Sucka.
Right.
It would have to be like doing something crazy. I just want to call out the chat. Was there somebody at the door? Was it a thing? Like, even right now thinking about it, like I don't even remember getting up and going and doing the thing. Like
I
it just
remember.
feels like, was that even a thing that happened? I don't know. NPC at the door. No, but I think NPC energy is quite literal. There is some of that that's out there. But yeah, going
and Laura was asking like the women of what illegal things could happen inside this made up world, like the level of abuse and like, can you torture people? Is it emotional things? Is it like, I feel like there's like it just levels up the amount that you can do to someone inside of like a virtual world. But then like, could that stuff just be stopped at a program level, right? Where you go like, hey, you're not allowed to abuse people or something. It just like physically will not let you run those kind of situations. But then who comes up with those rules, right? Like,
Right.
is it, like Donald Trump? Is it Elon Musk? Is it the most rich person in the world? Is it the most ethical person in the world? Is it an AI?
So let me ask you this. So I'll reverse that question. So right now you can run your own AI,
Sure.
right?
I put DeepSeek on
So
my computer.
so tell me, if you're in your own house, and I'm not going to even go into detail what I would say here, but let's say you're in your own house and you're running your own AI on a thing, and you've never hurt anybody, and you've not gone out on the internet and looked at like really terrible photos that you can download that would be absolutely illegal.
Sure.
But instead, you're just like, oh, I have this AI now, and I'm going to make these terrible photos or terrible videos or terrible AI outputs in my own little world here, in my little room, and generate these things. Is that illegal?
And like,
is
never,
that bad?
never,
And never
like,
distribute
never
them.
distribute
It's
them
just for
or
your
do
own little thing.
things.
So imagine you're in a virtual world. Take that example, and you go into virtual world, and you like you box it and say, I'm gonna just do these terrible, nasty things in my little bubble that no one will ever do. Is that illegal? Should you be stopped from doing
Right.
that? I don't
'Cause
know.
it's like,
I don't know.
you're saying because it wouldn't be like hurting anyone at that point.
You're not
right.
Yeah, clearly it had to have been trained on some really terrible things, so you
Sure.
had maybe contributed to that. But I'm going like, because I've heard terrible things and like pedophiles using AI
Sure.
to do all these terrible things.
Right.
And then they're arguing like, but I didn't hurt anybody. I'm just doing it on my computer in my little area or whatever.
Right.
I don't know, and that's what I guess I'm getting at is that if you got to a world where everyone's in their bubble doing terrible things, but it's not outside of their bubble, is that limited? Is that things that would be policed at all or even known?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel it's like part of, I mean, there's things that we accept and things that we don't accept, right? Like I play video games where I shoot other humans in the face.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And like I'm not shooting other actual humans in the face, right? I'm shooting virtual humans in the face and being like, we, we, you know, it's a fun thing, right? But you could say like, no, those two things are separate. Like how much does that other human on the other side is if they are more real than they are if that was a real person with real feelings, I'm not allowed to shoot them anymore, right? Or if that is a child, like I'm not allowed to have sex with it, you know? Like at what point is it an NPC and what point is it a real person
that's what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
it's like it's because you're now virtualized and like you're like creating these things in your mind, and so I think that would be the hard part to say, because you now have these virtual versions of yourself. And so I think what the chat gets to a little bit is like, if like you and I were somehow separated at these virtual worlds, and then like I like touched into your virtual space and like was able to take a piece of your consciousness, and then I was like, I'm gonna make a cool shooting game off of Ryan's, and you're like, no, Adam, don't do this, like
yeah, exactly.
Like that could be bad because now you're part of it. But if I don't know, because like my imagination is you get uploaded into a virtual world, I'm gonna be like, cool, I want this suit on. I'm in a suit. Or like, I want to be a tank. Boom, I'm a tank, and I'm like driving around. Like I'm not gonna be in this physical body. Well, I might like put myself there.
Because like then what's the difference between an uploaded person and an NPC? Like nothing.
Well, NPC is on a program that constantly like it's almost like an NPC is like, oh yeah, I mean I guess you're right to a certain degree.
Like because it's been programmed to only
do a certain
thing and
amount
only
of
care
actions.
about that, and it doesn't have like intention or thought or something behind it.
Yeah. I could see where you get uploaded and you have like a certain amount of like crazy memory that you can continue to fill. But then once you get to the end of your memory, like, oh no, I got to delete old memories of myself or whatever. I got to purge out of it or something.
Yeah.
Because like that's got to be a thing. Like you got to hold on to a certain amount of yourself, right?
Yeah. I imagine like sort of the upload we would figure out kind of.
So this goes to the other question. Like, would you have rights like real people?
Yeah.
So if you're, you know, that's a really hard, like granting rights to, oh man, that would be like, it would be pretty chaotic, I think. Because like we just discussed, you'd have to have almost rules in any kind of environment like this. You can't copy yourself. Yeah, that's another part. Like, oh, I'm just going to, put a little copy of myself out there. Now there's two of me running around.
And is it animals? Are we uploading animals to the thing, or is it like, are all the animals now NPCs like that don't have any consciousness or do anything, and the real animals are on Earth? Or like, do we not give a crap about Earth anymore? Like we're just in servers on the moon with our Dyson sphere powering us, and then we uploaded every single animal. Like every grasshopper and ant has its own NPC?
It would be like based off of our collective abilities to like come up like, what was an elephant? And like we'd all come in and like have to make
and like a woolly mammoth.
World.
Like I kind of know what a woolly mammoth is. I've seen a bunch of pictures of that. Like
it would be like a Ready Player One.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's gonna be.
I was just like, it's like
Earth.
T-Rexes and Ninja Turtles and everything.
I like the idea that let's say you get uploaded in the world and you had a start point, and then you hit like a save, and then you get backed up on your server just like we do now. You're like, let me go in my uploaded Synology server for backup, and like you would have to go like every night you go to sleep, you get backed up. So like the next day, oh crap, somebody like terrorist blows up the plant that you're in for your data center. Like, nope, you're just gonna reload your backup and you forget the day that you missed or something like that.
And one person creates an Uber virus and it wipes out all of humanity.
Oh God!
From the servers.
Normal animals? No. I'm making pure nightmare fuel creatures. I'm sure we would. That's the terrible part. And then like I think you're right. Like love and relationships. I think as we've got to the end of this conversation and really like talked it out, I just don't even think our human minds can really like conceive what an uploaded person or
because I feel like
intelligence
we
would do.
think about it almost, or I think about it like a video game, right? It's like a very complex video game that now I am a character in and my brain is in that character. But video games are based on real life, right? And so if now I can just like fly or make my own house or do this and live with anyone or combine with someone and then uncombine and like do all of that, it's like, who even knows what that would look like at that point? That's why this is sort of a futurism thing.
Yeah,
Right?
I love this conversation. What if video games were some sick attempt of our simulated reality that we're in, and they were
To like
actually
ease us in.
no, they were actually uploaded
Oh,
intelligence, and like every video game we've been playing has absolutely like test humans in there. So
Yeah.
everyone you've killed, Ryan, is like, no, Ryan.
It's like Ender's Game, right?
Oh God. Oh no, Ender's Game didn't have that, did it?
Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
They were doing the simulations and killing aliens, right?
Oh my gosh. This is this has been a great deep dive, and I think these are the kind of conversations that I appreciate, and I think we're going to do more of this.
Yeah.
It's been really excellent to have like the feedback from the chat, kind of see where we're headed with these things. Clearly we're not going to know necessarily in any like,
Yeah, do you,
right
okay,
now.
for final thing, does something like this happen in our lifetimes?
I think we're going to start to see some iterations of it, and like everything, there's going to be a version where you're going to get somebody in there. The rabbit hole with Adam and Ryan. That's the after hours. We actually talked about doing something similar. I love the name. But I think that we're going to see versions of this. Like you're going to be like, hey, we got like this part of their brain. Because like, what do we say at the very beginning? 86 million neurons or like different ways that you get it scanned. Like what if you get just enough or you get like a person in there? Like I think I remember just even years ago, they had a holographic version of Tupac rapping at a concert,
That's right. Yep.
And so what if they just took out all of like everything they know about Tupac and they put it in there? That's not scanning his brain, so maybe that's not the right one. But maybe there's like some future like Eminem.
They saved not Hitler, Einstein's brain.
Oh,
they have
shoot.
Einstein's brain somewhere. I mean, it's not, he's been dead, but like, do we?
Well,
scan that?
they put energy into it, or they do something. They
Just
wake
hook
it back
some
up.
Jumper cables to that bitch. Get it scanned.
Scan him. I don't know. Seriously, like is Walt Disney on ice? I know. You have some opportunities here. Like I think I had read something or I had seen something where they think that somebody within our lifespan now will live to hundreds of years
Right,
because
I
of
did
they'll
hear that,
be able
yeah.
to keep them alive that long. And so then somebody's going to preserve themselves, then they're going to upload themselves, and then we're going to be in that future state. And they're going to be watching this video in the future. And when you're watching this, bring us back. Bring us into the uploaded. Oh my God, here's my DNA. I don't know. I'm going to rub it on this table right now. Find this table.
You're like, they don't do that for people with 70 subscribers on Twitch.
Yeah.
I got to use the restroom. If you want to move us on to the next topic, that was great.
Yeah, this is good. What did you think, everyone? Give us some feedback. We really appreciate it tonight. Did you? What's your thoughts on uploaded intelligence? Did you like this deep dive topic that we've been in tonight? We'll probably be doing it some more. Give us some ideas of what you want to hear, what you want to talk about, and we'll consider that for the next stream. So as far as uploaded intelligence, if you want to see some of that, go check out Pantheon. Also, one area, if you're more into the book side of the house, there's one called The Hidden Girl and Other Short Stories. And that's where this Pantheon was written about. It was called "The Gods Will Not Be Chained, the Gods Will Not Be Slain, and the Gods Will Not Have Died in Vain." Very, very nice with that rhyme there. But if you want to go check that out, I love the book side of this house. Pantheon as an animated series, also really a good one to check out if you want to learn a little bit about uploaded intelligence. Really good stories, really interesting kind of concepts. Altered Carbon, not quite uploaded intelligence, but that's also where you can transcend some time and do some things with some of those chips. So check those out if you're interested in those things.
Those names of the short stories were titles of episodes.
Yeah, they absolutely were. It was so I think they did some. They definitely expanded that story as far as the animated series goes.
Do you
Ryan wants some.
a little more liquor?
Ryan wants some more liquor. Here, I'm gonna liquor you up, Ryan. I'm gonna get you my my special liquor, if you will. If you haven't had Hazel or Basil Hayden. Wait, don't watch White Christmas on Black. Is that like reverse psychologying me?
You know, I've not gotten into later seasons of Black Mirror. I need to just look up like what are the best episodes from each season.
Okay, so we're just gonna do a. Do you want ice in your pour? You want it neat?
It's fine.
Okay, so if you've never had Basil Hayden, it's a very delicious
It tastes
liquor.
like basil.
It has a. I don't know if it tastes like basil, but let's.
Why would they call it that then?
I don't know. My blurry face. It's a nice bottle, and it's also a little expensive, but
Deals with this topic, but it's a haunting episode. Nice. Okay. Add it to the
isn't
list.
everything on the mirror? So here,
You know, Black Mirror, I feel like it's hit and miss.
this is called Basil Hayden. If you've
It's like a
never tried-
name. It's more like a name,
Yeah.
right, of
I don't
someone.
know. Somebody's name I couldn't.
Okay, I have watched San Junipero because I heard that was so amazing. That made it into the zeitgeist of people who watch science fiction stuff. So I have seen that one. Yes, also very good.
Is that a Black Mirror episode?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't like one of the first Black Mirror episodes something really vulgar and terrible about making the prime minister do
Have sex with a
something-
pig.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
You're like, yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Great episode. Oh, that's how fancy this is. I only get like a little thimbleful.
That's
Okay, that's good. Nah, I mean we're fine. It's 10 o'clock at night.
Is it? Oh, you got an hour.
I got an hour.
You got an hour to sober up after this on some pizza we never got upstairs.
Damn it! Now I want pizza. Order a pizza.
He'll come over and he'll deliver it to my next door neighbor. My
It's got to be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know how my next door neighbor gave him the wrong damn advice.
Who
okay.
gives the wrong address to their house? Don't you just have that
I
memorized?
would like because I said, "What is the address on your damn thing?" And he said my address. I was like, "What the fish?" No, it's my next door neighbor. Good thing I know his name.
But you know, maybe because was it from the same pizza place?
yeah, it was.
Okay, so maybe they were just like, "Hey, this place gets it all the time." They wrote it down wrong. They assumed it
Probably
was
did.
you.
All right, cheers,
Cheers,
to some
second
Basil
cheers.
Hayden. Good stuff. I don't know if you can taste
Ooh,
the goodness of it.
It is good. Very smooth.
Yeah, I'll take these out. You know.
So what is it? Kentucky straight bourbon.
It is.
Cheers, Mike Azula's cheers.
Yeah, it's a Kentucky
little
Straight
belt.
Bourbon, artfully aged, distilled in a bottle. Let's see if there was any detail.
Distilled in a bottle.
Oh, sorry, distilled and bottled.
Ah, I was like, you can't distill things in a bottle.
You're like, that's okay. So it has a dried fruit finish. So it's a
Yeah.
sweet brown sugar,
It does.
black
it tastes
pepper,
sweet.
and charred
like it.
oak. Yeah, it's a
Is
bourbon.
that expensive?
Yeah, it's around like depends on where you get it. You can get it like 50, 60 bucks for a
I
bottle.
feel like. Let me take a picture of that.
Yeah, it's a really good one. It's one of those ones. I'm gonna just tell a little quick story before we get into the next one. So I go and I travel a bit, and I was hanging out with one of my colleagues, and on occasion we'll go and have a drink together with people. And so what do you do when you're with your colleague, right? You buy him a drink. You go out and you have a drink together, and you're like, oh, I got the drinks for the night, you know?
Totally.
So I'm with one of these colleagues. I will not name the colleague. And so we go to the hotel bar, and I'm like, yeah, just get us some whiskeys because it's the end of the night. We'll just do this nightcap before we go to bed. And so they go and get some whiskeys. And I was like, I got this one. And so we just got, just like this, about 2 whiskeys like this. And then they bring me the bill. And I look at the bill, and it's like $75 freaking dollars.
What?
$75 for 2 whiskeys, which they made into old fashions, which really pissed me off because they apparently, like the guy that went and asked for the whiskey. He's got like a super expensive whiskey and had to mix it with an old fashioned. I was like,
man,
I,
if you're gonna get a super expensive whiskey, don't
mix it.
with
I was like,
things.
so it was like a 10-year whiskey that got meshed with like nasty, sugary. So I was a little bit more like, oh
Man.
my God, that was the most expensive, terrible old fashioned I've had.
I feel like sometimes like hotel bar trying to make up some, make some profit off of something. You probably don't get as many people in.
I don't know. It was interesting, but I definitely like
Yeah.
Basil. I always want to say Hazel for some reason, but Basil Hayden. I got to give credit to Stealth Mouse because she was one of the first ones that like turned me on to it, and ever
Hazel
since
Baden.
it's really good stuff. All right, so do we want to do a quick hands-on?
We could just pick one of these if we wanted to.
Which one would you rather? You put them both on, so I'm letting you pick.
let's do the Firefly one, just because it seems like a little bit more.
Okay, Ryan's going to
Weird.
show us some Fireflies, so let me get him set up. And all right, here we go. Ryan, I'm going to get you.
I mean, and actually, we could do both if they were super quick.
Just don't gesticulate, because the last time you almost spilled
Everything
on
everywhere.
my brand new everything.
Well, it's part of.
It's part of a
being my
Ryan
friend.
thing. That is, yeah. I've already accepted it. You know what was hilarious? I was telling Heather about it. I was like, I knew it was gonna likely happen
Something
that
was gonna
night.
happen. It's a neoprene thing. Adam.
No,
like,
it was on here. It was on my keyboard. He spilled water right in it. It was
Wow.
funny.
So what this
Walk us through.
is this is a thing called scene to image, and it has some limitations that I don't like. But
You said scene to
scene
image.
to image.
Okay.
And what this is sort of you're building a 3D scene
Can you
over
click that
here.
thing in the upper left-hand corner of that? Is it no. In the little scene. Does that make it full screen? Oh no. Okay.
Frame screen?
Sorry, I thought that made it full screen.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, it does seem tiny. View. Okay,
Oh,
let's
there we
view
go.
this
That's
3D
great.
scene first. So, what you're doing is you're building something in 3D over here. So
With like geometric primitives or what?
yeah, like little primitive stuff. So I mean, I don't know what we want to build here. If there's like
Let's do like a cool little house. I would
Okay.
think like a cabin. I want to see
Okay.
a cabin in the woods if you could do something like that.
no
Cube it up, Ryan.
cube. No.
Do you have to like pull the thing into a cube or click it? Nope.
Click it.
Did you have to draw it onto
Okay,
the thing?
there was a cube here before, so I'm just gonna grab that.
Ah.
So I mean, I did find that this was like not the best, like 3D imaging thing, or maybe I'm just bad at doing that nowadays, or
Bad at 3D?
bad at 3D, or just like haven't done it in a while, right?
Oh, no, Ryan, you need to learn 3D for Godot.
I know. So let's just do this little house. Let's see. We need a roof for the house. A triangle. Why? What am I supposed to do with this triangle? How do I add this to the scene?
Drag it? Nope.
Oh, wait. Here's the triangle. Okay. I don't know how that did
puts
that.
it off to the side.
Anyway, like what I found to be interesting about this is what we're going to do is we're going to build a scene, and then we're going to angle it, and like whatever angle that we do is going to build the prompt around it. So it's almost like whatever we decide is the perfect angle. Once we've got it, then the prompt will be built around it, which is cool because then you can really dial it in better.
If I was uploaded intelligence, this thing would have already been done, Ryan.
Yeah, I would have just been like,
Can I try something?
yes, absolutely.
I just want to see how this works. It feels like it's so that's moving it. This is growing it. You
Stretching
know what
it.
this reminds me of? Oh my God. Does your Control Z work?
Yeah.
It does. It absolutely does. It reminds me of Tinkercad.
Yeah.
And so this is like a floor.
Yep, that's the floor.
Oh, so that actually is part of the thing. So what? How do you rotate? What's the rotate function? Okay, I got it.
There
Okay.
we go.
Yeah.
Put that little house together.
We want to grab this little guy right here, and we were gonna pull this guy to the side. Look at that. That looks great.
And you should do something weird with the house. Like you should so that it doesn't just look like a normal house, like it has some kind of something that makes it very specific to what we're doing.
Which
I don't
is?
know, like put a ring on the roof or something like that, or
Is it like a demon house or something?
yeah, or like
What are
a
we trying to do here?
futuristic looking house, right? With like make the chimney and then put like a ring around the chimney or something, like it's a Saturn.
I don't know. I want to. Is this like a paperclip? Oh, it's a capsule.
All right, it does look a little bit like a paper.
All right, let's put in a ring around the house.
Okay.
So Taurus. You have to draw it. That's what you have to do.
See.
Okay, and then you go and you get this little guy right here. Ooh, it like touches it. I don't want it to do that. I want it to be like on top of the house. Oh, it's like a flying saucer. How do I rotate this? Is there a rotate button?
Yeah, the those little curved lines next to it.
Oh, I see him. Boom. Like that, right?
Yeah, perfect. So do like and put a little ball on top of it or something so that it
ball
looks like
on-
a normal,
onto
like
the-
inside of it, so it looks like a normal flying saucer.
All right, let's do this. Make it bigger. That does not look like a ball. Oh, there now. It looks like a little bit more like balls. Put those balls in that hole.
Yeah, balls in the hole. It's a family show.
It is very family oriented.
We're PG-13.
We are
still
PG-13.
tonight.
Yeah, you're gonna use it. I already know you.
Well, even we get one. We get one F word.
I know. I almost just used it right there, just because I never get to use it. I'll let you use it when you feel appropriate.
Okay.
Can you like merge shapes? Oh, that looks cool. Looks like a top hat.
Yeah.
That actually looks good. That looks like a flying saucer.
Okay. So now bring
Wait.
it back to the double.
Hold on just 1 second.
Okay,
Is
you're going to do some extra
I
bits to it?
just was curious. Does it have, okay, hold on. I want to try one other thing. Is that an egg? Oh, shit. Okay. One last little idea here. I just had an idea. And I want to do it. I know
Okay.
we're doing this fast, so I'm going to try to do it quick. So we're going to move this here. Yeah, it's a little wonky on the editing, but it's still
Yeah.
kind of fun. So this is a barn,
Okay.
and what we got here is an alien spaceship. If I can get this right, that's gonna. Oh shit! That is going to abduct this little thing right here.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah. How do you make this smaller? Okay, cool. Maybe this comes up a little bit. You can't do colors or anything, right?
I don't think so, because you're going to do that in the prompt.
Okay. Gotta get that to the side. I think I'm getting it close.
Yeah?
This goes up. How's that, Ryan? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
Perfect.
Sweet. Now what do we need to do?
Delete that
Here-
other
Oh, here, I'm gonna give it back to you. I'm handing it back to Ryan.
Okay.
Delete backspace. Oh shit. Hold on a second.
Not screenshot.
It's weird. Like that is a thing. My delete does screenshot every single time. Okay. It's on you.
Okay, so I'm going to change it back to this. Now what we can do is we can sort of move this around and say we were like, great, that's the angle that we want. And so we're going to put like barnyard scene with alien spaceship abducting a sheep? An egg?
Yeah, do sheep or cow. Do cow. Just as you're doing this, I just want to get some chat things. There was a question, Ryan, for you. Would you think of the Oscar-winning film Flow?
Dang, I haven't watched Flow yet. I need to watch that because that is totally my jam. No talking.
And they did it in Blender.
And they did it in Blender. Like that is super fun to think. Like small team. Yeah, I'm sure I would. We just need to get our HBO Max subscription back for a month to try it. Yeah, been loving. We watched the one that I thought was going to win the Oscar, which was Wild Robot, which was also amazing. Okay, so what this is I'm going to generate this.
And the prompt is barnyard scene with alien spaceship abducting a cow. I'm really hoping this is going to pull it.
And what's cool is like it's going to use these 3D shapes as part of how it's going to frame this. So
oh my god,
right? And so like
oh wow.
So now see like you could be like, yes, I love that.
That is let's see what these other ones are. That looks so
then like
nice.
the spaceship looks like how the spaceship that I want it to look, right? Like and it sort of has the barn there, and it's not perfect.
That's great.
You know? But like you can see even the angle of the like
it's just slightly to the side,
slightly tilted. You know, like you would have it before.
Wait, how do you? I want these downloaded. This is amazing.
I don't know.
But you have to it says download when you get on top of them. Just save that to the desktop.
Okay.
This is you have to enumerate it. Here. Yeah.
Okay. But like I was like, oh man, how cool is that? Because part of the thing with these image generators is you're like, no, I want the spaceship to look exactly like how I want the spaceship to look like, not their stupid version of a spaceship. And so then I thought, great, well, why do I have to build it in this stupid thing? I'm just going to import in a bunch of 3D models, arrange them how I exactly want it, and then be like, yay, now show me this. You cannot import into this. Like, you have to build it in their stupid, 3D thing, because I think they don't want you doing child porn in there, right?
I don't
like
think
they're
it's
forcing
that.
you
I
to do
bet
it.
you it has to do, well, maybe, but it might have to do with how it extracts what that shape is. I'm almost betting that they'll just continue.
There have been people, or like they show examples of like very complicated shapes getting built out of all of these.
I'm a shape jockey when it gets to this. Okay, number one, this is amazing. Can I get access to this? Because I love what this looks like right here.
Yep, get an Adobe Cloud thing.
View 3D scene only. What does that mean?
Oh, that's where you're looking at just the 3D scene, right?
How do I save this 3D scene? You know what? I just figured it out. If I hit this
print screen,
hit delete button, then I'm gonna be able to grab this little guy.
So like now change it so that the angle is slightly different. Like make it so it's looking down on it.
What do you mean looking down? Oh,
like you're from above.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like this.
Like the opposite way from above. Yeah, there we go. Do it like that. And now see what that looks like when you render it with the same. Because I think it's kind of interesting.
How do you do that?
So then just do generate again.
Yeah, so you get the angle. That's awesome. Wait,
Yeah.
you could have... Oh, man, I could have zoomed it in, too. Wait, tilt up. Wait, how do you zoom it in? Can you zoom it in?
Yeah, I think so. But see, like, I just think that was so cool. Like, you can
That
really
is
dial it in
amazing.
with these types of things. Anyway, I thought that was neat.
All right, Ryan, that is good. Thank you for showing that.
Yeah.
I think those are the kind of fun things that AI is going towards. Like a lot of people are into the LLM world. It's 10:15. Do we want to do a chat? Okay, since we did
Should we try this game?
Yeah, let's try the game. Well, you know what? Let's do the Chat GPT one really quick.
Sure. I was just thinking like, so ChatGPT 4.0, image generation, embedded into it, like way better.
It's 4.0.
4.0, like, okay. and now like you can create an image, and what people have been doing a lot is like, make me an infographic, right? So I think we should just tell it to make us an infographic about something and see if it can do it, because that's going to have like a bunch of text in it, which is supposed to be better at. Like, it's supposed to be able to like take direction better.
So I noticed I was getting infographics before. So what? Give me a prompt. Like, have you tried something that you know you could do? Wait, you've hit the plus plan limit for 4.5. Responsive will use another model until March 29th.
Oh my goodness, you have 2 more days.
Oh my lord. Get pro.
You want to pay $200?
What's this temporary chat?
Oh yeah, that's
I am
really
getting
shady stuff.
reamed on this. All right, let's see here.
Yeah, 4 is fine.
Did I accidentally use research preview like too much? What the fish?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh my god, I used the fish out of this. Okay, what do I want to do here?
Yeah, like what is like? Do we want to do some? What could be like an infographic on uploaded intelligence or something? Or
Yeah, I want to do something with that infographic. Is it good or is it bad?
It's okay. It's a lot better than it used to be, where it would just come up with gibberish words to say. It's definitely not perfect though. But hey, give it a month and it'll, have taken every graphic designer's job, I assume.
Okay, we're going to try this one. I just made some random stuff up.
Oh, see, so when I did it, it asked me follow-up questions. It was like, do you want it to like this? Who's the audience that you want to do it towards? Like, now it's just doing it. Also, what I found out by testing this a few times is it now has that Mid-Journey thing where it shows like a fuzzy version of it for a little bit, and then this version, it just sort of goes clunk, 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 like down, like it's a dot matrix printer or like a old, slow internet image file slowly revealing itself.
Well, I'm interested to see here.
Yeah. And if you go through like,
oh, here it is.
Yeah. So if you go through their suggestion of it, like you can do things now, like they showed at least of like, you could be like, I want a red block in the upper left corner, and I want, a rows of these, and I want a green dragon.
This is amazing.
Thing up
this
there
is so good, Ryan. I did not realize. I was expecting something less. Now, I'm not saying this, like, just, it looks good.
Yeah, like actual wording, right?
What?
And you can go back in afterwards, and you're like, don't put the entire title in all caps. Do it in lowercase and uppercase, and it will only change that part of it. It won't like redo an entire thing and ruin the other parts that you like about it. It will just change the top to be not in all caps.
Just the fact that the text is like consistent and looking amazing, and it's just like.
Now, I will say I tried this a couple times. Not every time did the text come out perfect. It did some of that AI jankiness in some of it where I couldn't even understand it or read it.
Is it done? Did it screw up?
No.
Is it looking like it's not doing anything?
No. I feel like it did this before. And every time that I did this, it cut off halfway. And then it was like, well, download the full version. And then when I went to go download the full version or something, it was like, file not found. It's like, okay.
So you're saying it like
it was janky when
like
I did it.
Just,
this is the best version that I've seen.
Did it just
so
jank on us right now?
No, I don't think so. Like,
because like it usually has that it's working on it right here.
Try refreshing your screen.
Oh, nice. There it is. Part of the future, living in virtual worlds, exploring the cosmos.
This is the best one that I've seen. I did like 3 or 4 of them.
Look at that, baby.
And it lets you download it.
That's so nice.
Okay, now go describe what you want to add, remove, or replace.
Okay. I know exactly what I want to add.
Okay.
So we want to do, okay, I don't want to put it like that. I got a little excited there. Add. Information about nanobots scanning the brain to upload.
See, it has exploring the cosmos. I was saying.
I love that.
Now, interacting in new ways, a little not centered under the icon.
Ryan.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody cares about
Ask
that
it
anymore.
to center interacting in new ways under its icon.
Like let's try this. Actually, I have I'm gonna do that. I put nan bots. It's gonna have like a bunch of nannies that's around.
Bots. Nanny bots are an important part of the uploaded intelligence feature.
Okay. Wait, scanning the brain to upload the add information about nanobots scanning the brain to upload the brain, right? The neurons. How do you spell neurons?
And I would just make it sort of generic. Like, I don't think you need to do it as an intermediate step to whatever.
All right, as neurons. And then I'll do use good typography.
Okay. But I want to see, like, will it do, like, I want to say it specifically to
And
center interacting in new ways underneath the icon.
I feel like we're going to get something bad because we're giving it too much.
No, like, this is what it's supposed to do. Like, you're supposed to be able to give it minute changes in the thing, and it will.
I'm just going to put it like that. So it does it with everything.
Sure.
Okay. Let's see what this gets. I liked how refreshing it got it there. This is, man, if this works like this, goodbye designers.
Yep. I know, right?
This is what it is.
Everybody's gone. Everyone is going to have a ChatGPT moment or an AI moment where they go, "Oh my God, now it's taking my job." Why didn't I say anything when it was taking away the designers? I said nothing because I was not a designer.
I mean, what do you say though? That's the problem. Like, I think it's just being able to leverage this now and figure out how to use it.
Yeah, but like anyone then could do that, right? It's just democratizing it.
It is democratizing it, but you have to. Then there's people that are going to get good at prompting.
But like, you don't even need to be that good at prompting, right? Like. I mean, we said 10 words to get this first one. You know, that was pretty good.
Fair enough.
And at some point, we won't even need to write that. I'll just be like,
thinking it.
I need a thing about the user to talk about this, and it'll be like, hey, how about an infographic, and how about a web page that we make you, and how about an entire like page about it, and here's all the different things that we could do.
At what point is it like it's just a bunch of AIs do like what? I don't know.
But mostly all of this stuff is like not mind-blowing new things, right? Like every infographic that you see is not a person coming up with like all the research and everything that went into it.
No.
It's like it's just rehashing.
I love the
things
icons
already done.
though. Like it's like cool little rocket there that looks like an emoji.
Totally, they go with each other.
Color
They're in the right
theme.
color themes. Like
the brain, he doesn't look all weird. He's like thinking about it. I like this brain all uploaded. That's cool.
Yep.
It doesn't. It all like you can still see some AI-esque parts, but it looks like vector.
way better.
Super good.
Yeah.
Is infographics a part of this? Is that what they were saying?
Yeah, like that will like basically the biggest thing was incorporating text into images and not having it look like garbage. Right?
All right. Well, that bakes. I'm going to go over.
It does take longer.
I'm going to go to Ryan's thing. So we're at 10:24 right now.
Okay.
We're going to just use this as a thing. So does anybody know who that is?
What?
Does anybody know who that is? Come on now. It's Roby. He's one of our icons in the chat. Oh man, I feel like I should put that in there. Let's see here. If you're in the chat, oh shit, where's our Roby? Is he in there?
Your phone's just taking a while to load.
Yeah, it's not there. Roby is in our chat. So if you can figure out if you have access to the Roby, here he is right here. He's dancing in the chat.
There we go.
Hell yeah, there's
is
Roby. So Ryan, I asked him to do a much more in-depth animation of Roby, and that's what you have here as we wait for our AI. So Ryan, you did a great job. I don't know if there's anything you want to talk about this. He has his legs out.
Like basically what this was is Adam sent me a Godot run cycle that was in his like tutorial that he's doing, and it was like, hey, here's the little character and it's running, and I was like, all right, we need to get some. And Adam was like, hey, go in.
Woohoo!
Woo! Thank you.
Thanks for the follow.
Appreciate you. Nice. Hey, thanks. Okay, so yeah, go to our Discord. So what it was is like we only had how many frames of Roby running before? Like 3, I think, is what we had. And this was like, oh man, you could have a dozen.
Yeah.
And so it was sort of like, all right, what do I need to do to fill out this run cycle? And it was basically, all right, we get more frames now. And so some of this I feel like I would still want to tweak and work on, but I was like, all right, like we can do the run cycle. And so this was him in the old colors, you know, the green.
Yep.
And I needed to be able to get that good before I went in and colored it. And then once I got it to this point, which has a little hair bounce now, like a little bit, like
nice.
it has, like he sort of squishes down a little bit more. He definitely looks like he's like trudging forward almost, like he's going through, like thick mud or something. I don't know if he necessarily looks like he's running necessarily. That's why I was like, it might look weird inside the game, and I would probably update this. But I thought, hey, for a first try on this, and then once I got it to this point, I was like, great, I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit the colors. And I just used the default A-Sprite colors off to the side because I was like, one, it was like midnight at this point and I was ready to move on. And so I was like, all right, I'll just use these colors. We're probably not going to use this anyway. But what I did was I was just kind of like, it'll be interesting to give him, you know, a little bit of shading, like give him some jeans, like give his hair a little bit of like texture inside of it, and
It's coming to life, Ryan.
Texture.
It's
Yeah,
coming
you
to
know,
life.
I was like, great. So yeah. Anyway, that was like that was an evening.
So I asked him to do this because we're gonna look at Godot in just a minute. So we're gonna go back into our thing. Okay, we got the new one with nanobots in there. Oh, look like little turtles.
They're like little turtles in his head.
All right. Oh, it centered it.
Nice. All right, it did it.
Look at nanobots scanning the brain.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it looks so good.
Did it change? Did it change the bullet points?
Transferring a person's mind.
No, it just added a thing to the bottom. So it basically, it was like a designer did this, right? Because the designer would be like, God damn it,
look at
I
the
already
brain.
had. No, that's the same brain.
No.
Oh, like it took away a little bit of that
Cleaned
AI
it up.
jank.
It cleaned it up.
It feels just like a designer. A designer went, all right, they like this, you know, like I better go in and clean it up so that they do that. I don't want to add another bullet point because that's going to push everything down. So I'll just take that one that was kind of like a superfluous, you know, icon in the corner. He smooth brained it. And I'll just put nanobots scanning the brain. That's good enough, right? And I'll do my little nanobots on top. Wow. It's acting just like a lazy designer.
This is awesome. I am mind blown with this sucker. So I think we're gonna be I'm gonna be using the crap out of this. Thanks for turning me on to this, Ryan. This has been fun.
Literally came out this week, so we're at the tip of the spear here talking about it.
Heck yeah, we are. Hey, so we got people joining us tonight.
Yeah,
I just got to
appreciate
get
that.
a call out. We it was Herc Coic.
Adam is terrible with these Twitch names.
I am terrible.
Brutal.
I'm Uncle Grandpa with this. I am so bad. You know what I find myself at work sometimes? I'm like,
Oh, doing that, yeah.
I'm doing the like trying to figure it out. Oh, it's like getting old. I was talking to my son. I was like, I am old. Crap.
Taking pictures of small text and then enlarging
Zooming it
and
in.
zooming in on your phone. I've done that.
Herc Coic.
Nice.
Hercoic. Thank you for joining and following us on the
Appreciate
stream.
that.
So he's gonna come in. All right, so Ryan's gonna show us a game, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna jump in and we're gonna finalize the night, and we're gonna show you what Ryan did with Roby. I did not integrate it into this, but I got Roby into a
Yeah.
Godot thing that I'm really excited to show. So
Nice.
Ryan, Show us this game.
I don't know anything about. Never played this before, but I heard.
Ryan's never played this game and wants to show it on the
never
stream.
played it.
All right,
Never played it
show us how
before.
it goes, Ryan.
Well, so what this is normally we be playing, some kind of drawful or some Jackbox game, but I heard that this was a fun game. It's called Death by AI, and basically, like, it's not a drawing game, but something that we can play, and everyone, 10 people can play together, and it basically judges your prompts with AI. And yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, I gotta get this guy's got back. I'm picking him.
Oh, so
Okay, so everybody, get on your phone.
oh my God, we all could play this at the same
Yeah,
time.
10 people can play this all at once.
Oh, I didn't realize it was like a multiplayer.
Maybe I guess I could just play it up here.
You can play it up there. Ryan's gonna play it up there. So we gotta go to what? Death.
Deathbyai.gg. Good game.
Oh, it was already in my thing. Like I've played it before.
And I think that's a D, 9D, 6P.
9D 6P. That sounds
Okay, I'm
like.
going to click on this how to play. Create a game and invite your friends up to 10 players.
I'm in.
Choose a deadly scenario, i.e. you have fallen into a pit of snakes. Then you have to enter a strategy that you think will lead to your survival, like do a cool backflip to impress the snakes. And then the AI decides if your strategy is worthy of survival or death. And then the player with the least deaths after 5 rounds.
So it's like prompting.
Yeah.
All right, if you want to join in now. Oh, you can change even VIP here. That's nice. Just gonna be 2 of us tonight, Ryan. Oh, Debbie.
Debbie's in.
Woo!
All right.
Bro,
Roby.
bye. Broby. See, I can't talk. I saw that as bro, bye. It's Broby. I like the little characters. They're so cute. All right, we're gonna give you a couple more seconds.
In case you want to join in. Deathbyai.gg.
What's the good game? What's GG?
I assume it's GG, like the good game.
Yeah, but GG's got to be like a place. All right, I think we're gonna play. If you're not in by now, you have 10, 9, 8.
Oh look, you can run your guy
7,
around.
6, 5. Oh shoot! I lost the world. 2. Oh crap. All right, let's play, Ryan.
Okay,
You were falling from a great height.
next.
You're face to face with the angry wild bear. I'm down with that.
Do
Let's
that
go
one?
for it.
Okay. Okay, no one look at my survival strategy and cheat. It's not a Twitch game, actually.
This is fun. Okay.
25 seconds.
This definitely has the vibes of a Jackbox kind of game.
Definitely.
So everyone puts their things in what is supposed to happen?
Now the AI is going to judge our prompts, basically.
Oh, they're judging our prompts. You've never played this, right?
Never.
That was the winner?
No, let's see.
Okay, Broby. So he punches the angry bear. His bravado quickly turns to panic, and he sprints away, scattering snacks in a clumsy attempt to distract the brute.
I don't know. Are we waiting for Broby to do something?
I don't know, Broby. Are you there? Are we supposed to vote? I don't see anything. This is
Okay,
this is fun.
continue.
Yeah, sure. Oh, he's probably supposed to write. Enticed by the delightful trail of food, gives chase, but Broby's efforts to flee only lead him to deeper in the woods. Ultimately, trips and is engulfed by a furious creature. In the final twist of fate, Broby takes his last breath. The bear pauses to savor the snacks, leaving only the echoes of a foolish strategy behind.
Broby did not
He's
survive.
done. Oh, no. You get to read the next one.
Okay, Abdonimus tries to kick him in the nuts and scream, "Your mom!" then run away. Nice. Like, similar.
Very similar. I was like, I think I know the fate of this one.
As Abdonimus boldly lunges forward to kick the bear in the nuts, the stunned animal momentarily pauses, clearly taken aback by the unexpected insult. However, the bear quickly regains his senses, and with a roar that echoes through the forest, charges at Abdonimus, who, in a panic, turns to flee but trips over a tree root. In a twist of fate as they struggle to get back on their feet, the bear loses interest and meanders off, leaving Abdonimus shaken but ultimately alive, vowing to stick to a less risky insults in the future.
I lived.
Nice, good job. Okay, Debbie.
The bear is so exhausted after hibernating and just needs some snackies and a pat on the back before springtime.
All right.
I love it. Debbie approaches the angry bear. She speaks soothingly, offering it some berries she found nearby while cautiously extending her hand for a gentle pat. To everyone's surprise, the bear, drawn by the prospect of a snack and a kind gesture, softens, accepts her offering, allowing her to scratch its back as it munches happily. In an unexpected twist, the bear becomes Debbie's unlikely ally, leading her to safety away from the forest, ensuring her survival against all odds.
Nice.
You survived!
Good job, Debbie. Trienemy tries to... I roar in his face and give him the finger, asserting my dominance.
Oh, gosh.
As Trienemy stands boldly before the towering bear, the creature eyes widen in surprise as the unexpected display of defiance. With a terrifying roar that echoes throughout the forest, the bear lunges forward, crashing through the brush, while Triennemy's brave gesture is met with a swift swipe of his massive paw. In a flurry of fur and chaotic energy, Triennemy's grip on survival slips away, and with a final gasp of astonishment, they succumb to the very dominance that they sought to assert. I did not survive.
Oh, no.
Nice. Good job.
So we do 5 rounds of this?
Okay, now you get to
I
select
get to
the
select the scenario. All right.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like it's randomly selecting things, right? And we don't have to do 5 if we decide.
Let's do one more. Let's do one more.
Maybe one more.
All right, here we go.
Tried like a normal one. I want to see what it does with like something normal. I was like, what would I actually do in that situation? 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
I think I got it. Maybe.
Judging.
I'm hoping what I put in got that done.
Okay, this is for all of it.
All right, Debbie. I knew my brakes were faulty, so I scanned the area for a place to land. It wasn't pretty, but some overgrown evergreens catch me with grace. Oh, that was nice.
Nice. You're like already saying.
Hurtled down the hill with the sound of screeching metal drowning out the rush of adrenaline. Her agile eyes spotted a thicket of overgrown evergreens flanking the road below. With a desperate but calculated maneuver, she aimed her vehicle towards the dense foliage and prepared for impact. Miraculously, the thick branches cushioned her fall, allowing her to emerge from the wreckage rattled but very much alive. Laughing in disbelief, her wild escape from certain doom. You won.
Good
2
job.
wins. Good on you.
Okay, Abdonimus tries to pull the handbrake, roll down the window, and swerve the car sideways. Jump out the window while grabbing a large kite to fly away. Nice. As Abdonimus pulls the handbrake, the car screeches, but the momentum is too strong, sending it careening sideways down the hill.
Oh no.
In a moment of sheer panic, they roll down the window and attempt to jump out while clutching the kite, but the wild wind yanks them back. Instead of soaring through the skies like a masterful aviator, Abdonimus finds himself tangled and plummeting into the abyss below. With one final desperate gust, the kite snaps, and with it, Abdonimus's chance of survival vanishes, leaving only echoing laughter of fate. Double dead.
That was bad. Crushed in death. Okay, Broby tries to get out of the car as soon as possible as the car will continue to move forward at a steady pace, assuming we are talking about a car, not some vehicle.
Oh man, that's like a random one.
As the car races uncontrollably down the steep hill, Broby manages to fumble with the door handle, flinging the door open just in time, yet the momentum proves too strong. With a valiant leap, Broby is flung out, rolling to safety on the rocky roadside, though with bruises that will surely last a lifetime. Against all odds, Broby survives a harrowing ride, adrenaline pumping, and a new lease on life, and a fateful lesson learned about checking brakes before any descent.
Yep. Okay. I'll do mine again.
Here we go.
And I did Trying to me tries to. I jump from the car and tuck and roll. As the car careened down the steep hill, Trying to me's heart raced with the realization there was no time to waste. With a deep breath, they flung the door open and leaped out in a dramatic roll. However, fate had other plans as the momentum sent the vehicle into a wild spin, causing it to topple and land precariously close to Trienemy, who landed awkwardly and was knocked unconscious by the impact. Miraculously, they survived, but as they awoke, they realized the world around them had darkened, leaving them with more questions than answered about their near brush with death. Hey, I survived!
You did it! All right, well, Debbie's the winner tonight.
Debbie,
heck yeah!
Good job, Debbie. Nice. I will say that there are other game modes that you could try, like, you know, so if you're interested in this type of game, I do feel like it's a little subjective, right? And it's more probably about like you finding fun things, you know.
That was hella fun though.
So
I mean, you got
some little prompts
for a
you know?
free game
Right.
online to be able to play that. I would say good on you for What you
know?
think, chat? I mean, I thought that one was fun.
Yeah. You know, I feel like it I feel like there should be more games that incorporate sort of AI stuff like that.
Well, I'm sure that they're being created at this point. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for showing that one off, Ryan. So we're about 15 minutes out for the end of the night, and we appreciate you hanging out with us this night. So we're gonna end this one with probably just a quick demo of Godot, and then we'll do hide notes of the night and call it a night.
Totally.
So yeah, random fun, the way that they're intended. So what's been happening is, as you know, Ryan and I are all about trying to make games and have a fun with the stream, and it's about the Hangout. So I think we've got our format down pretty good.
Totally.
Let's chit-chat about some really interesting things that are out there. Let's get some chat involved on that. We're going to continue that. We used to have a lot more like, hey, here's what we're doing, and then working on the game itself. Ryan and I have been working on it kind of back and forth. We're going to probably have a rabbit hole version of the game where maybe on the off weeks or whenever we can just like say, hey, it's just a work session and you can join in. But the show, the headliner, the Hangout with Adam and Ryan, it's going to be about talking, hang out, doing the things that we normally do anyway. I have been doing multiple Godot tutorials, and I've been really having a fun time with it, Ryan, because at first, and this is exactly what happened with GB Studio, I was like, can I even make a game? And then as I started to
Right.
get deeper into it, I started to have some more fun. I was like, yeah, I think I could do it. And then we got to the point where we're at with the game. I wanted to get some like reassurance that moving to Godot or some other platform is going to be a viable experience. And I'm starting to believe that I can do this.
Yeah, nice.
And so I've gone, it's about, I think it's 11 hours worth of tutorial, which expands to like more than 11 hours because I have to watch
Sure.
videos over and over and over to
Totally.
do that. So the very first one was, here's how you use the tool and how you can navigate a little space. The second one was, here's how you make a spaceship that can shoot some things. I have not finished the third tutorial. I want to just preface, you're not going to see some major like cool thing with this, but I did get to a point where I put Roby into it.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to show you a little bit of it. And so so the very first thing is I want to just like go to Speedy, the alien attack, just so you can kind of get an idea. So we showed a little bit of this the last time. So you can get a little vibe on what this looks like. Oh, it opens on this screen. That's funny. I'm going to put it on this screen though. Okay, so you saw this last time. You hit play.
Oh, right. Yep.
And basically you fly around and you shoot. Got some spam bots in the chat. I love it. Okay, so this is where we were at last time, right?
Yep.
So number one, Game Boy game
Totally.
versus this, like this just looks more
Yeah.
modern, really fun, really
Yeah.
cool thing. So you get hit a couple times, it pauses for a second, game over screen.
Yeah.
We're doing the thing. Okay.
Totally.
So all these assets, all these like different scripts and game over screens, all this stuff that we're doing. So we're gonna open up another project in just a second. So let's just close out completely. And I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna reload my Godot. And there's a couple versions that I've been working on. So there's this Skull Bob's Mini, as I'm calling it, and so that's the actual tutorial that I'm running. But I'm gonna do this one called Finite State Machine. So I got to tell you a little bit of the story. Is that I was going through the tutorial, and I got to this point in the tutorial. I got the guy running around doing all the stuff. I got Roby in the game, and I'm like, hey, I wonder if AI can help me write the code for some additional stuff I want to do.
Love it.
And so I was like, I spent a whole 6 to 8 hour journey running this other version of what the code was. And so maybe what I should do is I'll just run this version of it. I should have clicked it. Yeah, it's super nerdy, my friend. So this version, look at, there's a little Roby in there.
There he
Look
is.
how cute he is. So if I go to scripts, I just want to show you. So you go into the scripts, and if you go to the character, we're not going to go crazy at what all these lines do. But basically the character's modes are very simple of what it can do. So if I go into the
It looks like move left, move right, jump.
very
things like
very
that.
simple. So if I were to play this script right now, this is what this was. So first of all, he's running around.
Hey, great.
Does he not look
Yeah.
like? And he has the jump and everything.
Totally.
So I'm double tapping left,
dancing?
double
He's
tipping.
doing
yeah,
his dance?
do the Roby. So if I go into this debug mode, actually I can.
Does
turn
he
off,
have an idol too? Did I see him,
he
like-
does have an idol.
Yeah.
I need you to do the idol. But I was like, oh yeah, we got to do this.
Do
so
something, yeah.
so one of the things I'm just going to show you, up to this point, I got to this game. I was like, okay, I'm learning the tutorial. So if he jumps off the edge, no coyote jump. Like I couldn't see how, like I am jumping like right at the last minute. You have to, like, even before the
yeah.
thing, like I couldn't get. I was like, okay, coyote. So if you don't know what coyote means, is that like you can go off of the edge a little bit
and still jump. Right, because
And-
that feels better when you're playing it as a player.
And if you look at him, if I go back to debug mode and I turn on collisions and shapes, and I'm gonna stop and restart, there is some challenge. So when he runs, that is our collision shape, and notice the collision at the end. So you go to this little edge, and then like he falls right off the edge. So if I try to
Yeah.
run and like jump right there, like he doesn't
it
he doesn't do the
it,
coyote
yeah.
jump. And so I was like, man, like,
That sucks.
how am I going to tune this?
Right.
Like, is there a way that I can make this work? And so that's where I went down the rabbit hole. And so vibe coding,
Ooh,
I
you
guess,
did some
right?
vibe coding.
You go on, you start to add code, and you start doing this. And so went down the rabbit hole, and you saw that there was that one little code to make him run, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I ended up
You're
building
just like, F it.
I-
Let me let ChatGPT write all that code.
Well, I said, help me understand a better way to implement this. And then I started learning about what's something called a finite a state mode. So you basically split all of your states into their own scripts and you load it in its own way. So none of this was the tutorial. This was me just trying to figure out how to do that. So I created like basically the player state that loads all this crazy stuff, and then it loads all of the different states. So basically you're switching between the states, and that if you build a state, it doesn't interact and mess up with your other code. Because if
you had to know that, right, beforehand?
I didn't. I used ChatGPT to like learn some of this.
Okay, I see.
And I kind of knew it from what we were doing in GB Studio. And so then I started to figure out, like, okay, can you make some states? Oh, can you do a cool ghost trail? Can you do all this other stuff? And so it's going to be the same kind of world that we created. So there he is there. But now, oh, wait, let me click over into this. Hopefully it's going to work. He has like this sweet
he's got the
little
dash.
Like, the dash.
Yeah,
I added
nice.
the dash. He has a coyote jump at the
Oh,
end.
yeah, nice.
And then I mean, there's not much more.
Sure,
But it
yeah,
took
yeah.
like I was able to split all
Right.
of what was in one little code into like individual states. And so now, like when he jumps, he'll be able to do
Yeah,
that like
cool.
sweet trail, coyote jump that we can adjust. So then when I went into the code, and part of this was like I wanted to learn it. I didn't want ChatGPT to just like spit it out and me to figure. Like I had to figure out where to put it. I put some error detection, so when he's on the ground, when he's off the ground, so you
Okay.
can see in the log. And actually, one way you can see it is this way. So if I go over here, see in the code, down in this. Let's see here. You probably can't see it on chat, so let me do this a little smaller. So if you look at the bottom right, there's this log. And so I had to say, like, when is he on the ground? And see, when he jumps, not on ground. So he's airborne. So I was trying to say, like, switch the state to this other state when he's in the air.
Okay.
And
Cool.
I don't know. I've been learning. It's so
That's-
much easier to like figure
because you're
stuff
you're
out.
like asking ChatGPT things about this. Like, are you sort of saying like, how would make this easier, or are they, or is this thing from the tutorial?
So it's from the tutorial, from my just experience with knowing how to do
Okay.
logging and things like that. So for instance, if I go in here, what I was trying to do was figure out, how do I know if he's on the ground?
Yeah.
So I created this coyote time logic because I had to ask it. I was like, we need coyote time in this. Like,
Yeah.
how do I do that? And so when I
It's
went
funny
in,
because like is Coyote Time just a GB Studio thing?
no.
Oh no.
It is
okay.
a- it
That's
is-
like
it is-
that's a game.
it is a game
theory
thing.
or something. Okay.
And so what I needed to know is I was writing this script, and it was basically like, are you on the floor? Make coyote time a thing. If not, you have to, and then I don't want to get into why I'm putting minus equal delta. And so I was like, I
Were
need
you
to
putting in minus equal delta, or
Yes,
was ChatGPT doing
I
that?
was
okay.
doing that. It was part of the tutorial. It was part of what I was learning.
Okay.
But what I didn't know was like, I need to know if this on floor is working. So I added this line to say, print this to tell me that it's actually doing that in the log, and tell me when I'm airborne. And so like I had to go in there, and then so I found out that you could use this little thing because ChatGPT gives you little emojis and things like that.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, how do you like tell it to do this, but also load the variable? And it was like, oh, put this little check mark at X. I was like, cool. I wonder if it will do it in Godot. So this helps me like printing things. So
Yeah.
it goes into the chat. But then I started to figure out like all these little details of how you make it work. But what I wanted to show you today, Ryan, was one thing. So if I go into the player itself and I go into 2D, there's the player. They have this animation kind of file that we can get into, and I want to show you animated sprite. So this is similar to what you could do with GB Student. This is why I want you to do the tutorials,
Yeah.
because it will help you. But you create the different states. And when you create the state, if I were to go into like, let me go into run. I'll give you go into run. You can go in and say, okay, well, what asset makes the run? So I'm going to go into textures, and I just loaded in all of the Roby sprites. One thing you're going to have to realize is that from my understanding, is we're going to have to do just like a frame by frame of the sprites, being super anal and making it exactly in a 32 by 32 box or whatever we decided is going to have to be necessary. But here's the run cycle. Let's see here. That is the main run cycle. Let me get the Roby run cycle. So here's the Roby run cycle. And I think I can zoom it in so you could kind of see it a little bit better. So I basically had to say, see that there's these like rows. It almost looks like a music notes or something. So it's saying, how many different stacks of like crazy animations did you put in this image? And really the answer is there's only one. Actually, vertical is what I wanted to do. So there's one. And then how many horizontal rolls are there? Well, there's 4, right? Is that right? Let me go back down to 4. Oh, because the size. You have to get to the right size. So I would type this to 32. And that's basically the width. So what it's basically trying to say is like, you have an image here. Help me understand how to parse this image into spaces. So I'm basically saying like,
you could enter in the Roby that I gave you. Like
I think I could. So
because he's spaced out as much as the other character was.
Let's see if we could do that.
I might be able to do that in 5 minutes, right?
That might be okay. So I need to figure out how to export this as like one image. So if I do export as
PNG, right?
Yeah, it's very small, by the way. That was humongous. All right, let's see here. There's PNG in here. There's PNG Roby run. So I'll put it in the projects. This is the FSM assets textures. Yeah, this will be a great test. And player. Okay. Export. It says, do you want to export the animation in 13 files? No. Wait. Agree?
Maybe you're going to have to delete all of those frames.
All right, let's just see what Godot does. This is okay. We're gonna see if we can't make this work. All right, so I'm gonna pick this out. So there's the Roby. Oh, it cuts it into a bazillion different frames.
Because it did it.
But look at here's Godot Roby right here. Okay. So we should be good. That's fine. Sweet. All right, there it is. Oh my God.
No. Do horizontal 12.
Yep, horizontal by 12. I think that's it.
Great.
Okay. So first of all, just so you're kind of learning from this moment, is you're first saying, what are the specifications so we know where the different pieces are. Then you click into them to say, like, here is where the animation is. These are the frames you want. So, like, you can make this, like, super long one, but you're like, no, I want, like, frame 0, this, and this. Okay. So we can add those frames, and it adds it to it. Now, clearly, we don't want these other frames, so let's delete those.
All right.
Delete. All right. That should be it. That literally should be
Let's see. Nope.
Oh wait, no, he's running. This is his running.
No.
So then
he's like a little slow.
It's slow because watch this. So that makes sense. So if I go back into the animation and I go to his sprite, and I gotta click on him, maybe click on him. His run cycle is and this is what's so nice about it, is it needs to go faster, right? Yeah. So in each state, you can adjust the speed of the frames per second. So let's what frame per second were you running? Do you remember?
No.
Let's put it to 10.
Sure.
Actually, and you can run it like this. So I think we can play it. It looks pretty decent.
Sure.
So this is where you're going to be spending your life, is in these kind of things.
Yeah,
maybe a little faster. What do you think? 15?
Like maybe 12.
Okay. So if I went to the jump animation, it's at 7. Run animation is at 12. You can adjust the different states in its different ways. So now that goes as he runs.
Yeah. Nice.
Turning
And
green.
he turns into the Hulk when he jumps, but you know.
He got his little thing. But
Nice.
Roby is in Godot, buddy.
Roby is in.
Oh my god. Anyways, I was excited. I'm stoked about
Totally.
it.
Yeah,
I just
that's
need to
great.
show that off. So it was fun.
So
We've
how
been doing
much
the thing.
more tutorial do you have to go through?
So by the end of this, I actually like said, okay, I got the state machine and I spent 8 hours doing that. I was like, I'm gonna screw my tutorial up if I go that direction.
Yeah.
So I just did the tutorial with just Roby.
Okay.
And so I probably have another 3 hours.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna get like a full done version of that. And so that it built my confidence up. I think you should run through it. Just you're gonna get to points where you're gonna be like, I'm never going to code. I'm not going to do it. Just go through it to kind of help yourself to understand like how it all comes together.
Can you resend me how to
Yeah,
go through
I'll
it or
totally
do
get you
something?
into that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say like it's cool because it's as you start to build your confidence in this
Right.
that you'll start to see what this looks like. So we got sorry chat, we didn't get to see a lot of what you were saying in there. So super fun to do that. Is Delta the Coyotes time? So Delta is, without going too much in detail, you have to be able to calculate frames per second where it doesn't get reliant on the program running it. Like it's basically a way to sync so that we can go between frames per second, and that doesn't matter how quickly the game runs itself. And so the Delta is basically, here's how many ticks that the game runs at, and you can run multiple frames per second, and you're going to always be synced, and nothing's going to come out of there. That's a super cheap way for me to explain that. Tonight was really fun, right?
Yeah. It was super fun. Loved everyone in the chat responding in and talking with us about, you know, UIs and you know, Copilot and playing games with us and everything.
I think the UI conversation was a really good deep dive into just some philosophical questions. Like regardless if you're in a UI world or not, I think these are the questions that we have in terms of just like life in general, and being able to kind of explore that with everyone, get their perspectives, and like see what a future state is.
And there was
amazing.
a ton of perspectives that like I wouldn't have thought of, right? Like you have to have colliding perspectives, you know, on this type of thing to open up your mind and be open to other things. We will be coming up with whatever the main topic is for next time. If you have suggestions of something that you'd like us to talk about, maybe throw it into the Discord. But yeah, I mean, we'll come up with something for next time, and we'll do a fun deep dive into that.
Thanks for hanging out all the way to the end. We had a new follower tonight,
Yeah, I love that.
her Coic.
Thank you.
We will add you to the Discord. Thank you for Laura, Michaels. We got H.E. Igley into there. We also have Stealth Mouse. Everyone,
Stealth Mouse, of course.
check out the Discord. We put the baby. We're
did
my
you?
grandpa in there.
Did you put the
so-
baby in the Discord?
I put the baby in the Discord.
Hey, I didn't get to see it.
Do we need to end the day with a baby pic? I think that's what we
Apparently
gotta
we
do.
do.
It makes me the grandpa. Here
Oh,
we
nice.
go. Let's put it on stream.
Amazing.
Maybe I shouldn't
Xavier. Now you're
Little
doxing
Xavier.
the baby.
Yeah, doxing the baby. Nobody knows about the baby, but now it's fully on stream. He's already on stream. He's not even a day old. He's already on stream.
He's already on the stream. Love it.
thank
already,
you all.
He's just a content creator now, like us all.
He's all part of it. So, all right, everyone, have a good night. We'll see
Yeah.
you next time.
Have a
Thank
good
you for hanging
weekend.
out, and we'll see you. Peace out.
Bye.